going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money, your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity Line of Credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Grilling, better with Pepsi.
For a limited time, get 2 20-ounce Pepsis for only $4.25 at Refuel. So hurry in and enjoy an ice-cold Pepsi today.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
He scores! What a comeback!
Visit GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Middle of the day on your Tuesday. Temperatures in the 80s. Humid out there. Mix of clouds and sun with highs today upper 80s to near 90. The chance for a few showers and thunderstorms developing after 3 or 4 p.m. I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 123 points at 40,663. Market update brought to you by the Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to the Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan on a Tuesday. Tim Donnelly here, Graham Hill producing the show, sitting in for Dennis Cox. And the Canes did kind of what we asked them to do. They signed a center, proven ability, goal scoring, point production, has a 100-point season under his belt. Eric Stahl to a one-day contract.
Are we sure he can't play for an entire season?
What if they
are we absolutely sure?
So Eric Stahl is signing the ceremonial one-day contract to retire a Carolina Hurricane. They as part of the agreement, and there's a cool video that shows the emotion for Stahl. Part of the agreement, he's going to come back to Raleigh and have his jersey put in the rafters during a game this season. What if they just, right before he signed it, crossed out 1 day and put 1 year?
Oh, no, we forgot to read over it one last time.
Look at that.
That's all a mistake.
Legally, now you're part of the team. You signed it, right? And once the ink is dried, you signed a contract. Should have had your lawyers look over it. Eric Stahl, it's appropriate. It's deserved. I know that, he had, what was it, a 16, 18-year career. 12 of them with the Canes. You wish it would have ended that way. But Walt Ruff, team reporter, put out these statistics. Eric Stahl's ranks in the Canes record book since relocation. So we're talking Canes, not Whalers. He is first in goals scored, first in assists, first in points, first in games played, first in power play goals, first in power play points, and first in hat tricks. That many first. Oh, and by the way, a cup. You do all of that, you end up with your jersey number 12 in the rafters. Excuse me. Congratulations to Eric Stoll. Congratulations to everybody for making it happen. It's a good move by the front office. It's just it's a fan service award.
And congratulations, Jordan Stoll. I mean,
there you go.
There's your brother, and it kind of
Jared and the
rest
the
of
fourth
them,
one
yeah.
as well.
And it's kind of just like a pass. It solidifies the pass of the torch because hopefully there'll be another a Stoll jersey going up into the rafters in a couple of years.
That's probably a conversation for another day, but I think he's probably a cup away. If Jordan gets a cup, I think he goes up in the rafters. Or if he randomly scores a bunch more points. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The real news, the real signing that we're still reacting to for the Carolina Hurricanes is Martin Necas agreed to a 2-year, $13 million total value deal yesterday. This is how sports works. Yesterday, all right, cool. Martin Necas under contract, not going anywhere. Now we know. Today, all right, what's next? Right? You get to it's sports, right? You get 24 hours to celebrate? It's really not even that anymore. You get that night to celebrate, the next day you're watching film. Seth Jarvis and Seth Jarvis's representatives now know there's really no reason for the Canes to be focused on much else but reaching that middle ground, reaching that fair point on a long-term deal with Seth Jarvis. 8 years, $8 million. That's where I'm putting it. 8 years, $8 million per year. I don't think there's much of a debate. He is worth it, and you have the money, right? The only reason that I was even entertaining some of the maybe you put him on a bridge deal. Maybe you put him on a 4 or 5 year deal. Maybe you find this other common ground. The only reason I was going to be okay with that is I thought perhaps they were going to spend so much money that that's all they had left, right? If the cap says that's all you have left, then that's all you can give them. But after our conversation yesterday with Adam Gold, where he did some, I think he called it back of the napkin math, and showed us that there is enough money for Jarvis to get the type of deal that he probably deserves. 8 years, $8 million. 8 years, $8 million for Seth Jarvis. You're happy with it. You put the jerseys in the team store. You sell a bunch of them. You keep turning him into a star. You keep giving him more responsibility. That's what's next up.
I mean, at the end of the day, it just feels like that $8 million that was going to go to Jake Gensel. Like, why not just go ahead and just slide that over to Seth Jarvis, a guy that's a part of your core right now?
Part of your core, has done everything you've asked, continues to do everything you ask, and can really become a star in your program.
Plays great, healthy, injured.
Plays so well injured that we weren't sure he was injured. Played with the torn labrum and the torn rotator cuff for most of the season.
Broken finger.
We didn't notice he was hurt until he also broke his finger in the postseason. Then we started going, all right, something's not right here. But I mean, how many injuries can you hide? The other thing that's next is you have to start imagining, envisioning, and this is Rod Brindamore, this is the assistant coaching staff, this is conversations with everyone. You have to start envisioning how you're going to put these lines together. All right, Martin Necas is coming back. No dumb ideas. Where's he playing? Do you give him a couple shots at being a center? I'm not saying you pencil him in, but do you let him try it out in preseason? Do you let him get some scrimmage in? Aho and Svetch, to me, are on that first line. Again, Adam Gold brought up yesterday, maybe you put Necas up there with him because Seth Jarvis then has the ability to really raise the level of one of the other lines, and he has had some success playing alongside Stahl. Right? That's the equivalent of, in the NBA, a lot of times your sixth man, first guy off the bench, is like your third best player, right? Because he has the ability to raise the level of everyone on that second unit. Seth Jarvis is, if you're just putting your best 3 players on your first line, he's a first line guy. But if you take Seth Jarvis and put him on your second line, maybe he can raise the level of that line a little bit better than somebody like Necas. Or do you start with Necas and Kokaniemi on the second line and say, all right, that's what we're starting with. Who do we put with him? Jordan Martinook. The Daily Faceoff has Bradley Nadeau, the rookie, penciled into that second line. Could it be Roslovic? Right now that you know kind of what the chess pieces are going to be, try it out, right? Play it out in your brain. How much experimenting needs to happen? How much will be on Necas' shoulders to carry that line if he is on that second line? Because if that ends up being Kotkaniemi, Martinook, and then Necas, I'm looking at Necas and saying, this is where you get to prove you're a superstar.
This is part of your prove it deal for the next 2 years.
You're going to get some help from some solid play, but any kind of dynamic ability coming from that line is coming from you. Make it happen. And also, if you're Necas, that's got to be kind of a cool place to be, right? It's the example I always use, and I'm not sure why this one always pops in my brain, is that one year where the Warriors stunk in the middle of the Warriors dynasty, and Klay Thompson was hurt from the year before. I think Draymond Green was hurt, and Steph was the last one out there, and I was like, I'm so excited for this. I want to see what Steph Curry can do when he doesn't have to be selfless, right? I want to see what it's like when it's like, hey, I'm going to take every shot. Now, of course, Steph ended up getting hurt also, so it didn't work out. But if I'm Necas and I'm like, all right, yeah, you don't have to go out of your way to make sure Martinook's getting his shots. You don't have to go out of your way to make sure Kotkaniemi's getting his shots. A mediocre shot from you might be the best shot you get on that rotation. So pull the trigger. And then, oh, by the way, that might lead to a long-term deal if you perform. It also might just boost your value on the open market if and when you hit it in 2 years. What's next for Martin Necas? What's next for the Carolina Hurricanes? That's how pro sports works. Months and months and months. Are you going to trade Necas? We got these offers. Are you going to trade him? Oh, he doesn't want to go to that spot. He won't agree to a long-term deal there. Oh, but he wants out. Oh, can he do this? Can he do that? Can you trade him? Will you trade him? All of that lines up to, as soon as you get to a resolution, what's next? Always something on the back burner, always something ready to be next. Right now, take care of Seth Jarvis, figure out your lines. Or at least figure out the plan for your lines, right? We're going to try this first. If this doesn't work, we'll move this. I'm fine with that, a bunch of experimentation in the preseason. Sometimes that's actually the best way to handle it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Yesterday, in honor of UNC opening their football practice, our 99 questions about the college football season series question was, who's going to be the quarterback for UNC? Well, today, with Duke opening their football season, their football practice today, our question is going to be, who's going to be the quarterback for Duke? Stick around.
The world's best athletes are in Paris going for the gold, and 99.9 The Fan will help you follow them for all 16 days of the Summer Games through August 11th. Listen for all the action from across the Atlantic. Check in often for event reports from Paris and the updated medal count as Team USA takes on the world. Updates from the Summer Games on 99.9 The Fan are presented by North Carolina FC. Get your tickets today at NorthCarolinaFC.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at renofy.com/notices. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
John, I'm putting my foot down. We can't put off renovating this house any longer. Our kitchen is so small. We need to finish the basement for the kids, and don't even get me started on the bathrooms.
Honey, renovating is so expensive. We can't do all those projects.
With Renofy, we can.
What's Renofy?
Renofy loans are a new type of home equity loan only for homeowners doing renovations. We can get up to $500,000 and keep our existing low mortgage rate locked in.
With Renofy, we can do everything on our renovation list and we don't have to refinance?
That's right. Renofy loans are the only home equity loan that use the after renovation value.
Just what we need. How do we get started with Renofy?
Just send them a text.
Text TRANSFORM to 323232 and see if you qualify for up to $500,000 to renovate your home with Renofy. Unlock the future value of your home right now to get the money you need without refinancing. Text the word TRANSFORM to 323232 to get started today. Text TRANSFORM to 323232.
NMLS number 1802847. Not all borrowers or properties qualify. Loan terms apply.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right. Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina education. Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18 plus. Subject to program terms at dewoutdoors.com. Ends 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
Want a great deal on Mountain Dew? Handy Hugo's offering 2 20-ounce Mountain Dews for just $4. Do the Dew at Handy Hugo's today.
Hey, John. Why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2024 Summer Games. The United States women's gymnastics team is back on top. After a silver medal in Tokyo, the Americans won gold in Paris today, their third team gold in the last 4 games. Our Steve Futterman has more from Bercy Arena.
It really was no contest. The American women easily win the team gold medal in women's gymnastics by around 5 points over Italy. Brazil finishes in third, and another gold medal for Simone Biles.
And Biles sealed that gold for Team USA with a 14-6 in the floor exercise. At the pool, the women's 100-meter backstroke final is getting underway. Regan Smith of the U.S. is the world record holder in the event, while Australia's Kaylee McEwen is the defending gold medalist. U.S. men's soccer team looking to advance to the knockout stage for the first time since 2000, picked up a 2-0 win over Guinea. With this Summer Games update, I'm Ryan Radke, Westwood One Sports.
Wellness means something different to each of us. And at Westin Hotels and Resorts, we believe every step is an opportunity to enhance your well-being. Whether it's guided group runs and workout gear on demand, or nourishing food options and restorative rest in our heavenly bed, when you travel, you can find wellness at Westin, one of 30 hotel brands in the Marriott Bonvoy portfolio. Find wellness at Westin.
At Lowe's, save big every day. Right now, get a free pneumatic nailer when you buy a pallet of Metabo HPT nails. And there's more. Save 10% on select shingles when you buy in bulk. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. As Graham continues his streak of being completely unpredictable with songs coming out of break, we rejoin you with Mrs. Robinson. And we lead right into our 99 questions about the college football season series. It's getting close. It is getting close.
Can you feel it?
I can. Practices are starting. All 3 teams in the triangle, Duke, UNC, NC State, as of today, are practicing football.
1 month away from Duke's season opener against Elon at home at Wallace Wade.
There you go. Who's going to be the quarterback for Duke?
It's a great question.
That's our question in our 99 questions about the college football season series. Who is going to be the quarterback for the Duke Blue Devils? The 2 in the running are Grayson Loftus, who many of you will remember from last year. Stepped in, performed admirably down the stretch after a couple of injuries ahead of him. He was a freshman, thrust into the limelight, and made some plays. right? That Duke Carolina overtime situation, he kind of stared down Drake May on the other side in the shootout and came pretty darn close to pulling it off. The other, Malik Murphy, big-time transfer, big-time recruit from Texas. Probably would have been in a quarterback competition of his own at Texas with Arch Manning if Quinn Ewers decided to go pro. Instead, Quinn Ewers, the returning starter, decides to go back to Texas. Malik Murphy thinks he needs a little bit of a fresh start, opportunity to compete, transfers to Duke. The head coach of the Duke Blue Devils, Manny Diaz, spoke with us on this program at ACC Kickoff last week. This is what he had to say on deciding the starting quarterback.
Bringing Malik in was important of not just stemming the tide, but turning around our momentum. Malik was so crucial. Forget the people on the outside, inside our locker room, to realize, like, wait a minute, we don't have to take a step backwards this year.
And it was very quick after your regime took over.
It was actually great. He committed on the day that Duke was winning their bowl game. The great unintended consequence is that what you would want as a coach is that competition makes everybody better. And Grayson Loftus played his tail off during spring ball, and our locker room truly believes that we have two quarterbacks we can win with. And that's not the old, if you got two, you got none. No, we have two guys you can win with. Now the question going into training camp is, who can we beat everybody with?
Who can we beat everybody with? I thought Manny Diaz handled the situation very well. I thought he set it up very well. I agree with him that the Malik Murphy commitment was pivotal in establishing the new coaching staff with Mike Elko out the door as a hey, everybody doesn't have to run away. Matter of fact, people are going to run towards our program. Malik Murphy, I would be extremely surprised if he is not the starter.
Yeah. It's just nowadays in college football, and you could say the same thing with North Carolina, not to compare the two, but, I mean, they're both going through the same thing. Nowadays, you don't bring in these big-name transfers with the expectations of them to be the backup week one. Crazier things can happen, though.
Not only do I think Malik Murphy is the starter, I think the continuing of the competition, I think that Grayson Loftus being in the competition is strategic. I don't know if it's actually in the coach's eyes, unless something, trust me, if Grayson Loftus comes out and he's playing like Joe Burrow, they're not going to put him on the bench just out of principle. But I think it's mostly a strategic move, and it's about keeping Grayson Loftus. Right? The gift for Duke is Grayson Loftus played well enough last year that if rubber meets the road, right, if there's an injury, if he's forced into action, you're very comfortable with him. He played very well in the ACC. The flip side of that is he played well enough last year that there would be a market if he wanted to enter the transfer portal. Yeah. There would be a ton of teams out there that would be interested in bringing him in and having a quarterback competition.
Or wait out another season for when it's his team. I mean, that seems a little unlikely nowadays in college football, but you never know.
So in order to get him to wait, in order to do what you just said, right, hang around, or even just to be available for one more year as a backup, which will give Manny Diaz and his staff a chance to go maybe recruit someone out of high school or find their guy. To keep that player, you have to keep him on the hook, right? You have to keep him tasting the bait. You have to keep him interested. And I'm not saying that Grayson Loftus insinuated anything about transferring. I'm saying if you're a coach, you can look at the state of college football right now and say if somebody played last year, real games, has enough tape that they can send it out to other teams and those other teams will be interested. If you have a player that played last year and they're going into training camp not even in a competition for the starting job, take the names off. Like, again, I'm not saying this is specific to Grayson Loftus. I'm saying generically in college sports, that player leaves a lot of the time. To keep that player, you need to make them think they have a chance.
And he now has enough experience just after his freshman season last year, where he started 5 games towards the end, where you don't want this to happen again. If you're Duke, we're seeing a rotation of quarterbacks getting injured, but he got thrown into a crazy situation when Leonard got injured, and then backup Henry Beeland, and handled it pretty much as well as he could.
So you want him around. I think many coaches will understand perhaps the only way to keep that player around in that situation is to drag out the quarterback competition as long as possible, even if in the back of your brain, it's Malik's job. Right? In the recruiting process, you may have even promised Malik things, right? But you have to play this up going into camp until that point of no return, and then perhaps Loftus moves to the background.
I think also, too, just for Duke, with their schedule this year, those non-conference games against Elon, Northwestern, UConn, there's one more in there that I'm forgetting. I mean, those are the games where get Malik Murphy out of there early in the third quarter. Let him play maybe, two sets of downs or two drives, I should say, in those third quarters of those games. Get it out, because after their non-conference, I mean, they just jump right into the thick of it with their ACC schedule.
Middle Tennessee Middle Tennessee is the one you're forgetting. Maybe Elon. I don't want to disrespect Northwestern, and I know they dirtied UConn last year, but UConn is a program on the rise. I'm not sure you go into it expecting to play both quarterbacks for 4 games. Against Elon and FCS opponent, you probably do. But the other 3, like if Malik Murphy needs to play the whole game, you play Malik Murphy the whole game. Right? He's also new. You're also implementing new coaches on both sides. Their offensive coordinator, Jonathan Brewer, is also very new. He's only had 1 year experience as an offensive coordinator. So there's a lot of new that I think they're going to want to break in that non-conference schedule, those first 4 games you mentioned, Elon, Northwestern, UConn, Middle Tennessee. And that includes, very obviously, doing whatever it takes to get your starting quarterback ready. And with the 99 questions about the college football season, question of the day being, who is going to be the Duke starting quarterback? Malik Murphy. I don't know if he starts every game. Injuries happen, right? Coaches have to make decisions. But I think he's starting week 1. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Want to tell you about my friends over at Window Nation. They can install your windows, by the way. We talk so much about the quality, right? The vinyl, the sealant, all the top-end materials, the unbelievable installation quality, the checks and balances that when they talk about it, you can tell they care, right? What we don't talk enough about is they can install your new windows in 1 day or less, right? I have a 3-year-old at home. I have a dog at home. So, right, upending, like, having to block off an entire area of the house so they can do home improvements and finding babysitters or dog sitters or taking your kid out of that's a whole thing, right? So Window Nation can install the windows in 1 day or less, which means you don't have to, find a place to stay or sleep in the guest room, or you don't have to completely change your entire kind of living style to get your new windows, right? They can install your new windows in 1 day or less, and they come with a lifetime warranty with that proven quality and service I talked about. It's no wonder thousands of homeowners have trusted Window Nation for their homes, and you can too. The reason why I point that out is because, right, I've talked about when Justin from Window Nation came to my house, did the whole demonstration of their product. The science is so high quality behind their windows that you think like, oh, geez, this must be like installing a rocket ship or something. You can probably take over my house for a month before I get my new windows. No. It's not that case. Although the technology is that advanced, it's also that quickly installed, 1 day or less. And right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free, plus pay nothing with no interest for 2 full years. That's 2 windows, get 2 free, pay nothing with no interest for 2 full years. To set up that free, no obligation consultation, give them a call, 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION. Or you can visit them online at windownation.com. That's windownation.com to schedule now. We're going to take a break. When we come back, NC State football starts their practice today. Who's under the most pressure this preseason for NC State? I'll tell you next.
Are you ready?
From 54, snap and hold are good. Kick is on the way, plenty of leg, and it is good!
Over the middle it goes, and he's got Puka Nacua to the 30, to the 20. No one's going to catch him.
Back to throw. Crosby off the edge, and he's got him back at the 23! Tua back to throw. Deep, down the numbers on the left, and the Cheetahs got it! Touchdown!
The NFL kicks off August 1st on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
An army never rests. The same is true for the Salvation Army of Wake County. Serving the most vulnerable populations in our community, the Army shelters the homeless, feeds the hungry, provides after-school and youth athletic programs, senior programs, and responds to natural disasters. Beyond the red kettle and Christmas bell ringing, the Army is there to help those in need all year long. Learn more at wakearmy.org. The Salvation Army. We love beyond the holidays.
That'll be 30 even.
That's 90 points! Sorry, that was a lot. Now that I'm getting 3 times the points on food and fuel with the Navy Federal More Rewards American Express card, I get a little too hyped sometimes.
Cool. Would you like your receipt?
In the bag! Sorry. In the bag, please. Learn more about the everyday, everywhere Navy Federal More Rewards American Express card at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
College football season is right around the corner, and head coach Mac Brown and the Tar Heels want to see you in Kenan Stadium this fall. Don't miss out on exciting home matchups featuring in-state opponents, including NC State, Wake Forest, NC Central, and the home opener versus Charlotte on September 7th. All ticket options, including full season tickets, the customizable Tar Heel 2-pack, and individual game tickets are on sale now. For more information and to get your Carolina football tickets today, visit GoHeels.com.
Triangle Area Trading Cards is trading up, moving across the street to a big new location. So they're hosting a grand opening party Saturday, August 3rd from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. There'll be treats, trading, 99.9 The Fan will be there giving out Durham Bulls tickets, and the first 100 folks in get a gift bag. Check out the Collector's Lounge, trading tables, social media room. It's a great chance to see the inventory, check out the space, and trade for sports and TCG cards all day. Details on Facebook and Insta at Triangle Area Trading Cards.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. NC State starts football practice today. Today should be a holiday. It was the first day for the Panthers to wear full pads. Duke's practicing for the first time. NC State's practicing for the first time. UNC practiced yesterday and now again today. Should be a holiday.
I can smell the grills already.
Well, tailgating? Now we're talking.
Oh, man.
Now we're talking.
Can't wait for it.
The interesting part is NC State has all of these transfers, particularly on offense, right? I talk less about the defense because that's just respect to Tony Gibson, the defensive coordinator. I think you could give Tony Gibson a hodgepodge of players and he'll turn them into a formidable defense. So we talk about the offense a lot for NC State. They have all these transfers. They have a quarterback expected to play, transfer. Running back expected to play, transfer. Tight end expected to play, transfer. A couple wide receivers expected to play, transfers. A couple offensive linemen expected to play, transfers. They have all these transfers. So my eyes don't actually go towards any one player on the offense. My eyes go towards Robert Anae, the offensive coordinator. He's the one that's going to have to focal point this thing. He's the one that's going to have to build chemistry. But there's something even additional about Robert and I's task that I want to focus in on. But first, let's hear from Dave Doran. He spoke to us at ACC Kickoff last week right here on this program. Talked about the chemistry and needing to find that on offense.
That is the challenge we have in front of us, and that's what the winter and spring and summer have been about, is getting that, as you mentioned, 11-man football, as we call it, 11 guys playing as one. And so that's fall camp. We're going to find out where we're at, what we need to work on. But we have a lot of tools there. We have a lot of competition there. And we have a lot of motivated, experienced players there. And so it's going to be fun to see it all come together.
As an offensive coordinator, Robert and Nye's reputation, right? The part of his history that gets everybody so excited is his ability to customize his playbook to take advantage of the skill set of his players. Right? He's the one that had success with Schaefer as his quarterback at Syracuse, who was kind of a little bit more mobile than you think, but a pocket passer. At Virginia, he had success with Brennan Armstrong almost exclusively as a passer, and with Bryce Perkins, who ran for over 1,000 yards. Right? He's molding his playbook into the ability of his players. That's awesome. I think that's how you should coach in college, right? You go recruit the best players possible to play each position, then you figure out an offense that works, rather than pigeonholing yourself in recruiting to go get a specific type of player that fits your offense who might not even exist, or if they do, might want to go to some other school. So Robert and I probably, and when I say probably, I mean it's nearly 100%, has a plan for how he wants to customize his playbook to take advantage of all the new players this year, for how he wants to use Casey Concepcion, which he learned about last year, from how he wants to use Noah Rogers, their 5-star transfer, from what he thinks Grayson McCall does best, or Jordan Waters. But he has to be willing to pivot, because nothing shows you what a player does best than seeing it on the field, talking to that player, interacting with them on the practice field, watching them in scrimmages, watching them in 11-on-11, watching them in 7-on-7, and figuring it out. Film simply can't tell the whole story. Watching them in someone else's offense can't tell the whole story of what these players do best. He has to be willing to change his plan, and he has to know what he has in his bag of tricks that can take advantage of those things.
So that's the thing that stood out to me in your conversation that you had with head coach Dave Doran at ACC Kickoff. I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but he said the offense is still going to primarily run through Casey Concepcion. I guess it's just one of those things where if it's not broke, don't fix it.
He might be the best wide receiver in
He's
the country.
He's the best wide receiver,
yeah.
Yes, it might as well. But he said that's the beauty that they have now with all these transfers is that, teams, it's going to be a lot harder for teams to scout against them. And even then, when it was still Casey Concepcion just last year, teams had a hard time, or teams struggled to stop them and to stop NC State's offense. So that's just what makes it so difficult this year for their opponents, is that Robert Nike has 8 different weapons that he can throw the ball to this year.
I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. It kind of stinks. I'll use an example from when I was playing. We played against, I think it was William and Mary, and it may have been JMU. I forget which one it was. But they had Arthur Motes, who went on to be an edge rusher in the NFL for a bunch of years. And I think he was number 56. I'm just picking one out of the random, right? And every time we got to the line of scrimmage against them, and we had to do it in practice, right? There was the guy wearing the different colored jersey on the scout team.
Yeah.
You'd have to walk up and go 56, just so everybody knew where he was, right? He was that good, and that meant, all right, the offensive line knows we got to block him, right? The quarterback knows if he's singled up, you better get rid of the ball quickly. You better know where he is on your blind side. He was that good. I imagine towards the end of last year, the NC State offense heard something similar, where every time they lined up, you heard the defense going, 10's over here, 10's over here. Which is, by the way, good move by the opposing teams. Like they should. There were games where I was like, either Casey Concepcion's going to make a big play or NC State's not going to make any big plays. Like that was, so it was a good move. This year, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. But bringing back to what I was saying originally, Robert and Nye is going to have to make sure he's putting the other guys in the positions they can make big plays in, right? Find out what Noah Rogers does well. Maybe There are wide receivers that make big plays because they catch it over the top of the defense. There are wide receivers that make big plays because they catch it in the quick game, catch it short, and they're great yak guys, yards after the catch guys. There are running backs that are one cut. There are running backs that are wildly patient. There are running backs that like to get on the edge in space. Figure out what these guys do best and then craft your entire offense around that. And that's how you make it so teams can't tee off on KC Concepcion. Right? Because they saw Grayson McCall complete, 20 passes to guys that weren't KC Concepcion out of 22 attempts for 230 yards and 2 touchdowns. Sure, KC Concepcion also had his 100 and a touchdown and 50 rushing, but when you have that other production, because Robert Anae's offense is doing what it's supposed to be doing, it makes them that much more dangerous.
Simply put, this NC State offense should have no problem scoring more than 20 points. And the reason why 20 is the magic number, Graham, is because last year NC State 0-3 in games scoring fewer than 20 points, 9-0 when they scored that many or more.
I have a feeling the offense will hear that stat a few times, right? Hey, we just need to get to 20. For us, it was always 24. Our coach had some stat that with our defensive coordinator, if we scored 24 points, we're going to win like 87% of our games or something.
So as someone who did play college football, you really do buy into that number that you scored.
Heck yeah. It'll probably be a little bit higher this year just because Peyton Wilson isn't around. But yeah, you know those things, right? The offense, because you need little like things you can latch onto to not get discouraged, right? The other team scores 10 points in the first quarter. It's good for the offense to know, no, we knew we were going to have to score to win the game, right? We're down 10-0, but we came in with the goal of scoring 28 points, right? 28 still wins the game. Let's not get discouraged. Those things are all important. And Robert Anae is going to be the one tasked with scoring those points, pulling the strings, pushing the buttons, whatever you want to call it. And it starts today in practice. Learn as much as you can. Gather information. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You can listen to 99.9 The Fan for coverage of the summer games from France. Here's the current medal count presented by North Carolina FC. The United States is still in first in total medals with 25. However, they are still in sixth in gold medals with 4. Leading the way in gold medals is Japan with 7, followed up by China and Australia with 6 apiece. Then France and Korea, 5 apiece. And then, as I said, the United States in 6th with 4 gold medals. But they do have 25, meaning United States has 25 total medals. That's far and away first place. France 18, China 14, kind of next up on that list. Summer Games updates on 99.9 The Fan are brought to you by North Carolina FC. Get your tickets today at northcarolinafc.com. Let's talk about the games a little bit here, which, by the way, men's volleyball indoor, USA up 1-0, and they are leading the second set 23-14 over Germany. The Olympics are, to put it bluntly, awesome. They create moments that I think it's just because there's so many different events going on at once. The odds are moments are happening at any point in time. When I say moments, I mean those goosebumps, right? Things that raise your skin. They happen a lot. And it's about sports that I didn't care about 2 weeks ago. Steven Nedorozic. I did not know he existed until I'm watching the men's gymnastic highlights last night, and he's chilling on the pommel or waiting for the pommel horse. Right? Men's United States Gymnastics had not won a team medal since, I believe, the 2008 games. This guy is a pommel horse specialist. He doesn't mess with the even bars. He doesn't go off the vault. He doesn't do the floor exercise. He said, I do one thing. I show up. I'm here to wear glasses and crush the pommel horse, and I'm already wearing my glasses. Then it comes down to they're either going to be on the medal stand or not, and Steven Nedorozic from Penn State takes off his glasses, goes up on the pommel horse, crushes the routine. Men's gymnastics gets their first team medal for U.S. since 2008, and it's a bronze, and everyone's jacked up.
American hero in the making.
Seriously. And he, like, I don't know how bad his vision is, but somebody got him his glasses while the hugs and celebrating were still going on, which means I think he really, like, didn't know who was hugging him. He's got some vision issues. And he became a story. And guess what? I don't even know what's good and bad on the pommel horse. Right? He's doing the doop, 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 spinning around. I need somebody there. Like, I need the dumbed down version of these broadcasts for gymnastics and a bunch of other sports. Right? I was watching the women, who, by the way, Team Women, USA, gold medalist by a boatload. I'm watching the women. I need someone there telling me if it's good or bad. And here's what I mean by that. Simone Biles on the floor needed to do her floor exercise to win, right? That was the last one, and the United States was leading, but she needed to complete it. And she stepped out of bounds a few times, like stepped out of the little square that they do the floor exercise in. I needed somebody there just to say, like, oh, that doesn't actually matter. Because I was like, oh, no. Oh, wait. Oh, they're ahead by so much that doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, I could hear Tim for all intents and purposes in the cubicle. Yeah.
Oh. And then it turns out that her degree
Stand up straight.
Her degree of difficulty is just so hard that, like, those little steps don't really impact her against the rest of the field. So here's what I ask for. Either, you know how they have, like, all the multi-casts now? You have, like, the Manning cast. You have all these other alternate broadcasts. I want one that just has, like, a gymnastics expert or whatever sport it is, rugby expert, right? As long as it's not a mainstream sport. Just saying, like, that's good. That's not good. Ooh, that's very bad. Like, you don't need to give me the ins and outs. I don't need to know if it's a double McTwist with a variation on the pike loose, whatever you want to call it. Like, I don't need to know all that. I just need to know, should I be cheering or should I be worried if I'm rooting for Team USA?
Or like a little text box in the right-hand corner of the screen, like the paper clip that you used to have for, like, Microsoft.
Just
that,
a
like,
little
comes
thumbs up
yeah.
or a thumbs down that tells me how good or how bad what is happening, just so I know whether to cheer or be worried. Because I feel foolish and I'm like, oh, no. And then they're like, what a perfect exercise. They win by 1 billion. And I'm like, oh, all right. Those steps out of bounds didn't matter, I guess. By the way, Simone Biles, she's a monster. Today, smoked it, but it felt like they knew for the Team USA, they didn't have to go guns blazing. They just kind of had to be solid and they'd win. So they weren't going for the gusto, if you will. Yesterday, in qualifying for the all-around and all the individual apparatuses, she was pushing through a calf tweak, right? I don't know if it was a calf strain. I don't know if it was a cramp. I'm calling it a calf tweak. And it felt like there was some worry, right? People were like, oh, no. Right after what happened last Olympics, if she doesn't have the opportunity due to an injury, it's going to be brutal. And then she was crawling, but she was laughing. She, like, didn't want to put weight on it, but she didn't look in pain. And then she did the hardest floor routine in the world and posted the highest score of the entire event. And then she did the hardest vault in the world and posted the highest score in the entire event. With a calf tweak. I don't know about you. I tweaked my calf. My golf swing is out of sorts for a year. She tweaked her calf, then just was like, I'll still do the highest degree of difficulty in the world.
I'll still go win a medal. Put my country on my back.
I'm going to propose a rule change.
What's that?
If you're the best, if you are one of the podium contenders, there shouldn't be a limit on how many you can go from one country. But did you see what happened to Jordan Chiles?
I think I heard about
in
this.
The qualification. I'm just gloating on. This is like I'm part of them, right? Because we're all the United States. This is why the Olympics is awesome. I'm gloating about us. The U.S. had 3 of the top 4 all-round scores in qualifications for the all-round finals, and obviously, like when in a event where 3 are on the podium, the top 4 would all qualify. However, there's a rule that you can only send 2 per country to the finals.
Interesting.
And Simone Biles and Sunisa Lee both already have gold medals in the all-round. 2016, Simone Biles won. 2021 in Japan, Sunisa Lee won. And they were a 10th Sunisa Lee was a 1/10 of a point better than Jordan Childs, so she gets to go when Childs doesn't. I don't know about you, but if you're going to let them all try to qualify, if all three of the best are from America, all three of the best are from America.
Yeah, fair enough.
The United States can have all three at the 100-meter dash, gold medal, silver medal, bronze medal. Why can't they have all three of the all-around gymnasts?
Because we're too good.
This is, by the way, with Sunisa Lee and Simone Biles both making it to the final. It's the first time in Olympic history that two separate all-around gold medalists will face each other in a final for the all-around. They both already have won this event in the Olympics. Another moment that I'm predicting is going to happen, and it's going to be crazy. Katie Ledecky in the 1,500 meter is one of the most mind-blowing things to watch in the entire Olympic Games. She swims the 1,500 meter freestyle, which is essentially a mile of swimming. And she wins by a boatload. In her heat, she won by like 18 seconds. She was ahead by as much as 25 seconds. When they put her on the screen, you don't see anybody else. It's unreal. And it was just a qualifier.
Is this who had like Michael Phelps in attendance watching them to cheer them on, or am I thinking of somebody else?
I'm thinking, well, Michael Phelps was everywhere. Michael Phelps was watching Simone Biles. Michael Phelps, Snoop Dogg, and Flavor Flav.
Flavor Flav, yeah, it's also there.
Are just everywhere. They've become very. They must have tunnels going from location to location.
Flavor Flav's just like Snoop Dogg's taking up too much of my screen time. I need a.
Apparently, Flavor Flav funded the what is it, synchronized, or it's either synchronized swimming or water polo. He funded the team.
Okay.
So he's earned his right to be there, but Michael Phelps is everywhere. It was just the qualifier I was watching Katie Ledecky. It was like the heat. I'm watching Katie Ledecky in the 1,500 going, this is absurd.
Well, at least there's some Olympic athletes that are getting to swim. At this point, I don't think a triathlon is ever going to happen because of the Sinai River.
River's still not clean. And, how would you feel if you are the participants?
Yeah.
You can't get into the river and train because it rained a lot. Like they spent millions and millions and millions of dollars trying to clean this river so they can do all the open water swimming in the river.
We even talked about the mayor of Paris jumping in it.
Jumped in to
prove that it's clean.
That it's clean. They spent millions and millions of dollars cleaning it. And then there's heavy rain. You saw it during the opening ceremonies, right, everybody? Apparently that washed sewage into the river to the point where it's not clean again. I'm not sure I want to go in the first 10 minutes after it's clean enough from sewage.
That's exactly right.
I think I might want a little bit of a leeway, a little extra buffer there.
If you're participating in the triathlon and you get there first, you might just want to stay back for a little bit and wait for somebody else to catch up. And that's a game of chicken as far as who's gonna jump in first.
I think they start with the swim.
They start with the swim?
I think so.
It's even worse. Well, that's actually better because then you can sit back and when four people go right away.
You can always try to catch up, right? You got a lifeguard swim, right? You got to swim with your head all the way out of the water. The other, did you see the women's rugby?
Yes. Women's an absolute clinic.
Women's rugby, U.S. first rugby medal in U.S. history, picked up the bronze, and they won it on, I'm going to use football terms because this is what it looked like to me, a 95-yard walk-off kickoff return for a touchdown.
Are you not entertained?
Spiff Cedric is her name with the play. Ran a lady over. Just it reminded me, do you remember Matthew Judon against Mac Jones when it wasn't Matthew Judon, it was Chandler Jones for the Raiders, intercepted a toss back, and then Mac Jones tried to tackle him and he just planted him back into the ground. That's what it looked like. Just planted the lady from Australia back into the ground and then ran 95 yards or 95 meters, it might be because it's in Europe. Straight line to the end zone, scored to upset Australia 14-12 and win the bronze medal for the United States.
They went full Auburn versus Alabama in the Iron Bowl where they returned
you're right.
the field goal.
It felt very kick six-ish. Unreal moment, right? And that's what I'm saying. Katie Ledecky's a massive star. She burned supernova at the Olympics. Steven Nedorozic, he's now somebody that is remembered in the annals of sports. Spiff Cedric is on every Olympic highlight for the next however many years.
I think that's one thing. I think that's one thing that you can get out of watching the Olympics if you're not familiar with these sports is watching it and kind of being like, all right, explain this in college football terms or explain this in NFL terms.
The way it feels like to me is just, especially for the sports that aren't basketball or aren't like,
soccer, or
tennis, soccer, golf. It is 4 Super Bowls combined, right? It is the biggest thing in their sport that doesn't happen every year. It happens every 4 years, which just makes every little moment heightened, right? It wouldn't mean as much to Nedorazic if he had a pommel horse for an equally as prestigious championship like 6 months from now, right? If he doesn't, there's a good chance a pommel horse specialist never makes it to an Olympics again. And in that moment, right, the moment of his life when it comes to his athletics career, the dude stepped up and drilled it, right? Cedric with the run in rugby. There's nothing that says she was going to have another opportunity to win an Olympic medal ever. And with no time on the clock, she planted the defender on her back and outran the world to the end zone is what I'm calling it. It's probably called something else. The Olympics are awesome. And by the way, shout out to Catherine Burkhoff, NC State swimmer, bronze medal in the 100-meter backstroke. Makes her the first female swimmer in NC State history to medal in the Olympics, according to Corey Smith. I believe that means current NC State swimmer, but still Corey Smith of Pack Pride. That's pretty bananas. You're doing firsts for exceptional athletics programs. In case you can't tell, I love the Olympics. In case you also can't tell, I love qualifying finalists for our Win Your Weight in Meat competition. Now through Friday, text PORK, P-O-R-K, to 919-860-5326 to enter for your chance to win your weight in meat. I feel like I'm not doing a good enough job explaining this. If you like to grill, if you like to eat, if you're a carnivore, if you like to eat protein, if you like to have everybody over to your house and have a little bit of a cookout, if you like to stuff your freezer with meat, text PORK, P-O-R-K, to 919-860-5326 and do it quick. Do it like now, right? You're going to miss your opportunity and you're going to kick yourself when you do it. This Friday is the last chance to qualify as a finalist, but we have a finalist will qualify today, tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. So the earlier you get your text in, the better your chances are to qualify as a finalist. We will qualify one person each weekday around 4 p.m. to come on air and reveal their weight. Once they do that, they're one of their 10 finalists, one of the 10 finalists. We'll randomly pick out of those 10, and the winner will be announced next Monday. That's August 5th. And on top of that, the North Carolina Pork Council will match the prize amount, right? Whatever that weight in meat is, will match the prize amount to donate to a local food bank. All of this presented by the North Carolina Pork Council and the dedicated team of farmers that put bacon and barbecue on your plate. Learn more at ncpork.org. By the way, you heard me say weekdays around 4. We're going to call one of you that has texted in pork to 919-860-5326 in the next couple minutes to try to make you a finalist. Answer your phone. Have it on loud. Have it on vibrate. Whatever's the best way. Answer your phone or else you might miss out. And everyone else, text PORK to 919-860-5326. We'll qualify our next finalist and get to football at 4 coming up next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Dak Prescott should be the one voice in that organization. He always says the right thing. He always presents a great front, and he always presents team first, winning, class. He's awesome. He should be the one voice. They will never do it. There shouldn't be the Jerry Jones weekly radio show. There shouldn't be the Jerry Jones press conferences, all the different things he says. But that man, Dak Prescott, should be the one voice in that organization.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Mortgage rates are down. Yep, they've been dropping big time, so it's a great time to call Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's got APRs in the 5s. So if you got stuck with a high rate last year and want to refinance, this is a great time to call and lower your payment. Or you can use this opportunity to get cash out of your home's equity and pay off those credit cards, personal loans, car loans, and other high-rate debt. Loan Pronto can help you use these lower rates to get the cash you need in a matter of days. You could do a full refi, or you could do an Equity Express line of credit. Homeowners who call Loan Pronto typically cut their monthly payments by $850. Bottom line, your home value is way up, and mortgage rates have come down big time, making this a great time to act. Call today for a free 30-second rate quote. You may be able to skip your next 2 house payments. Call 919-381-1760, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, Equal Housing Lenders, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Grilling, better with Pepsi.
For a limited time, get 2 20-ounce Pepsis for only $4.25 at Refuel. So hurry in and enjoy an ice-cold Pepsi today.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news.
Theater Raleigh presents Bull Durham, a new musical playing Reynolds Industries Theater in Durham, September 10th through the 22nd. Based on the classic movie, follow Crash Davis and his Durham Bulls story in a new genre. Details and ticket info at theaterraleigh.com.
Drive into summer with the Honda CR-V and Accord, your fun-to-drive weekend getaway vehicles. From Honda, the 2024 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Value brand. So hurry in to the Honda Summer Event. For a limited time, well-qualified buyers can get a 2.9% APR on a 2025 CR-V or 2024 Accord.
Contact your local Carolina Honda dealer for a great deal today.
See dealer for financing details based on 2024 Consumer Choice Awards from Kelley Blue Book. Visit kbb.com for more information.
This hour of buzzer-beating, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sports action on 99.9 The Fan is powered by
Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Middle of the day on your Tuesday, it's warm, it's humid, temperatures 80s, and then as we head into the afternoon, upper 80s to near 90 degrees. We'll see the chance for showers and thunderstorms developing after about 4 p.m. today, middle 70s overnight. I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 203 points at 40,743.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have put out a call to a potential finalist. They did not answer, and they did not make it back in their 5-minute timer. So, in our Win Your Weight and Meat competition, we are getting ready to call the next possible finalist. So if you have texted in pork, P-O-R-K, to 919-860-5326, have your phone on at 4 o'clock on weekdays just through this Friday. Be sure you know what's happening. In the meantime, we can hit a little football at 4 while we find out if we can get the next finalist registered. The Panthers, today is their first day in full pads. Today was the first day with complete contact allowed for the Carolina Panthers, which is an opportunity for the Panthers. I know it's not what it used to be, right? And I played football in the old school days. A lot of the guys in the NFL, right? Adam Thielen, definitely. Jadeveon Clowney, definitely. They played football at least early in their careers in youth in the same times that everybody longs for, right? Where your first day in full pads meant Oklahoma drills and bull in the ring and the gauntlets and everything that you're not allowed to do anymore. Two-a-days, full tackle, full contact, morning and afternoon. That just doesn't happen anymore, and it darn sure doesn't happen in the NFL. But there is a way you can orchestrate, you can schedule, you can run your offense, run your practice that allows you to create some form of identity. David Newton of ESPN tweeted out that Panthers open team drills with inside runs. All right, inside run. Not only is inside run a period on the practice, if you think you're going to start off your practice by establishing the run with the interior of your offensive line, that's going to be your bread and butter. It's a good way to handle it. It's a very good way to handle it. I've just been told that we have our finalist for the Win Your Weight in Meat competition, so we'll come back to our Panthers conversation about being in pads and the style of team that the Panthers want to be thought of as. But right now, we need to talk to Ryan and Zebulon, who is in line to be a finalist in our Win Your Weight in Meat competition. Ryan, the only thing you have to do to officially become a finalist is reveal your weight. What are we working with?
About 275.
275. You could do a lot of damage with that in pork, right?
Yep.
As always, we ask the question: what's your go-to style? Is it a smoker? Is it a grill? Is there some kind of marinade? Let us live vicariously through your best poultry / beef pork stories.
Well, I literally just bought my wife a pit ball smoker, so it's going to go great with all the stuff on the smoker. But I'm a brisket guy.
Be honest with us. Is that a gift for the wife that's also at least as much for you?
Oh no! Well, yeah, I'll benefit from her cooking on it. Yeah.
Oh, she's going to be throwing down. I like it.
Yeah, she.
I like it.
She's happy wife, happy grill wife. So.
Perfect.
It's a reversal.
Hold on to that one.
She loves the grill.
All right. Ryan, congratulations. You are a finalist. You are locked into our Win Your Weight in Meat competition. We will pick randomly out of the 10 finalists and announce the winner next Monday. But go ahead and stay on the line because there's a little bit more information we need to get from you, okay?
Okay.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Ryan and Zebulon, 275. That's a lot of bacon, you know what I mean? Now through next Friday, everybody else, if you're not Ryan and Zebulon, you can still be a finalist to win your weight in meat. Just text PORK, P-O-R-K, to 919-860-5326. Then all you have to do is answer your phone when we call, and you're a finalist. And you might get whatever your weight is in meat. And in addition, the North Carolina Pork Council will match the prize amount to donate to a local food bank. All of it presented by the North Carolina Pork Council and the dedicated team of farmers that put bacon and barbecue on your plate. Learn more at ncpork.org. Now, jumping back into Panthers opening their fully padded practice schedule today. First time. The Panthers want to be known as a physical team. Every coach will say it. Not every coach will believe it. Right? Every coach will say, we want to be a physical team. We want everybody to know they're getting into a fight when they come to play us on every Sunday. Every coach will say it. The history we have, right, because what I always say, the best indicator of future performance is past performance. The history we have with Dave Canales running an offense, he's going to live up to it, right? His offenses are going to be physical. They are going to run the ball. Even if they're not the most efficient running offense in the league, they believe, meaning his offenses believe, You start with the run, and that opens up the pass. We saw it last year in Tampa. Rachaad White was not the most efficient runner in the league. He did have the second most touches of any running back in the NFL. It was Christian McCaffrey and Rachaad White as far as having the most carries plus receptions in the NFL. He will pound the rock, Dave Canales will. But you don't end up being that team if you don't prepare yourself for it. You don't end up being the team that is the most physical. You don't end up being the team that is the most aggressive. Unless from the opening jump, as soon as full pads are on, you're aggressive. We saw Jadeveon Clowney and Chuba Hubbard getting into a little pushing, shoving match. There's going to be more of that at training camp if the Panthers are going to play the style of football that they want to play. Miles Sanders was apparently leveling guys, lowering his shoulder, right? In practices that probably are not fully take to the ground, right? A lot of times, even when you put on full pads, it's, live along the line of scrimmage, live blocking, tackle, wrap them up, right? You don't bring them to the ground. We don't want knees and everything getting rolled up on. So when the running back lowers his shoulder, tries to bowl somebody over, the defense gets mad because they're going, wait a second, we can't go hard against you. You can go hard. No. Those things are going to happen. Hit the same guy every single day. It's going to happen. But starting today, the Panthers are establishing the type of team they want to be week one. A lot of coaches will say it, want to be the most physical. Then they go out to practice, and the first thing they do is 7-on-7. First 4 plays a game of 11-on-11 are shotgun passes, and everyone's just kick sliding and pass blocking, and those teams aren't going to be the toughest. They might be the most skilled, might be the most finesse. They can still be good, but they're not going to be the most physical. By the way, the same is true on the opposite side of the ball. Carolina wants to stop the run. We know by how they spent their money this offseason. Derek Brown, big contract, run stuffer. A'Shawn Robinson, big contract, run stuffer. They traded away Brian Burns. He's an edge rusher trying to stop the pass. Spent on linebackers. They're going to try to stop the run. Good on good. Starting today, best on best. Offense's run game against the defense's run stuffing. Who's going to win? Who's going to figure it out? It's the kind of competition you want to see. Intense. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Want to tell you about my friends over at Miller Lending, the home of the no closing cost loan. Just because rates are up right now doesn't mean you should be paying $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 in closing costs. Doesn't mean you should be buying down your rate. Because the rate might come down by itself in the next 2 or 3 years, right? Some are predicting much sooner than that. If the rate comes down, refinance, no costs, no fees, right? It's the no closing cost loan. Get the rate that you would have had to buy down to for nothing out of your pocket. It's one scenario where you might look back and say, man, we really wasted all that money buying down our rate. Here's the way it's maybe most simply put. When you close on a mortgage with Miller Lending, that's just your next payment, not your forever payment, right? You buy down your rate when you think you're going to keep that rate for the next 30 years. But if you think you're going to refinance in a year and a half, you better look into just going with Miller Lending and getting a no closing cost loan. The high rates right now, if they're higher than you want, nobody's excited about that. It's all about planning for the future to make sure you put yourself in the best situation to have the lowest monthly payment as soon as possible. And for the least amount of money out of your pocket possible, right? You got to take in both into account. The phone number to call for Miller Lending is 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377, or you can visit them online at millerlending.com. That's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. We're going to take a break. When we come back, cop or drop, one of our favorite games to play. We'll see what Graham has to throw at me coming up next.
Move your sports day forward.
Do you want to be at a place that's perfectly content, where it wants to be, ready to be a game changer, ready to shake things up? think that's where I want to be. I want to be in a place where others want to be, not in a place where others don't want to be. And that's the whole problem with what happened yesterday at ACC Media Days. We're not talking about the sports. We're talking about the courts.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
This is it. Shop the Lowe's Closeout event to get up to 70% off select major appliances for your home. Plus, get up to 60% off select patio furniture and accessories for your outdoor spaces. So hurry into your local store today because these deals are too good to last. Shop them now before they're gone because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/7 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Lenny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing, made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories, all without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver, all the taste, no bitter endings. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew. 30 seconds. That's it. Done. Peace.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2024 Summer Games. Some hits the pool in Paris today as Ireland's Daniel Whiffen won the gold medal in the men's 800 freestyle. Whiffen is the first Irishman ever to win an Olympic medal in swimming. American Bobby Fink finished second for the silver. Italy's Gregorio Poltrineri took bronze. Kaylee McEwen of Australia held off 2 Americans to win gold in the women's 100-meter backstroke. World record holder Reagan Smith took the silver, while Catherine Burkhoff took the bronze. The U.S. women's gymnastics team won gold in the team event today, the third time in the last 4 summer games they've claimed the top spot. The gold gives Simone Biles her 8th Olympic medal, breaking a tie with Shannon Miller for the most ever by a female American gymnast. And the U.S. women's rugby team claimed their first ever Summer Games medal with a thrilling come-from-behind last-second score to beat Australia 14-12 in the bronze medal match. With this Summer Games update, I'm Ryan Radke, Westwood One Sports.
Broken bricks, falling fences, damaged doors, Gorilla Glue. Of course. It's incredibly strong and 100% waterproof and bonds, well, virtually everything. While you're at it, look for Gorilla Tape, a heavy-duty double-thick duct tape, and Gorilla Super Glue, great for all your quick fixes and repairs. There's also Gorilla Epoxy, Gorilla Wood Glue, Gorilla Construction Adhesive, of course. You get it. If you can break it, Gorilla can fix it. For the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Traveling? Volunteering? Spending time with family? What's your retirement look like? With income planning from Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor can help you grow and protect your wealth. They'll look at your full financial picture and help you create a flexible strategy that considers things like market conditions and healthcare expenses, so you can stop worrying about the future and enjoy whatever comes next. Visit fidelity.com/income planning. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, member NYSE SIPC.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we get to Cop or Drop, listen to 99.9 The Fan for coverage of the summer games from France. Here's the current medal count presented by North Carolina FC. Leading the way in gold medals, Japan with 7, followed by China with 6. China and Australia actually tied with 6. Then France and Korea tied with 5. Then the United States in 6th with 4. However, the United States, 25 total medals. That is 7 more than anyone else in the game. So we are still well ahead in total medals, but need to pick it up in the gold. I think that's fair. Side note on what's going on with the summer games. By the way, summer games updates on 99.9 The Fan are brought to you by North Carolina FC. Get your tickets today at northcarolinafc.com. Side note on what's going on with the Olympics before we get to our Cop or Drop. I just turned on or it flipped over to, I should say, the men's indoor volleyball. The libero for USA, which is the guy that wears the other color jersey. I went to high school with him.
Really?
Yeah. How about that? Little name drop. Eric Shoji.
There you go. Okay. Tim Donnelly knows volleyball to be more specific.
I knew he was good. I knew he won a bronze medal like 8 years ago. I didn't know he was still on the team. He's up there. His brother used to be on the team as well, but doesn't look like he's playing right now. Eric Shoji, Puno. There you go. That's our school out in Hawaii. Here's my brother's grade. So there you go. Now, Cop or Drop. Let's get into it. This is where Graham throws everything he can at me as the producer. He throws ideas, projections, predictions, anything sports related, and
Pens.
I say whether I am copping or dropping. What was that?
I was just saying pens, but
Pens, the kitchen sink, anything that is not bolted down, he can throw it my way, and I'll tell him whether I'm copping or dropping. Dennis, normally it's Dennis.
Fair enough.
Graham, what do you got?
Well, you can't spell Canes without Necas, certainly. And after Maury Necas re-signs with the Carolina Hurricanes last year, when you look at what he did last season with 53 points, 24 goals, 29 assists, and 77 regular season games, Tim, cop or drop, Maury Necas will now have another 50-point season in 2024-25 with the Hurricanes.
Yeah, I'm copping. 50. He had 53 this past year, 71 the previous, if I have him correct. I think the range for him probably starts at 60 this year, simply because, if you look at the point scorers, right, the point producers, the goal scorers that were on the team last year, Gensel in the second half, Teravainen was there, Stefan Nason was there. These guys are gone. Though that production is going to have to come from somewhere. Now, obviously, there could just be a step back overall in how much the Canes score, but I think what's more likely to happen is you're just going to have to lean even more on Sebastian Aho, Svech, Jarvis, Necas, and a few others. So I think, Necas, 60 to 75 points next year. I think that's a fair range. And if that happens, everyone will be happy, right? If that happens, he'll be building up his value. The team will hopefully like the role that he's playing, and everybody can move on. So, I think Necas gets 50. Again, and I guess maybe I should put this on like all predictions, barring injury, right? If he misses half a season, then that changes. But
certainly don't want that to happen.
Barring injury, I think he gets 50 handily.
The good news for the Carolina Hurricanes is that 4 of their 5 leading point scorers return next season. Taylor Teravainen being the only one that's out of that category. But you have Seth Jarvis coming back. Mm-hmm. You have Sebastian Aho coming back. Now Marty Necas, and then Andrei Svechnikov. So, I mean, that's the positive.
Each one of those will have to step up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like and by the way, they're all
– and they should be expected to.
They're all mid-20s or younger. Like, you're still in the ascending part of your career. I don't think anybody's peaked yet.
Speaking of Seth Jarvis, now that Necas has been inked, all that remains for the Hurricanes is to either sign a short-term bridge deal or a long-term deal. Cop or drop, the Hurricanes will sign Seth Jarvis to a long-term deal.
okay, there's two ways to handle this. Copping because I want it to happen, copping because I think it's going to happen. There's really no reason not to now.
Yeah.
The
writing should be on the wall.
Adam Gold explained it to us yesterday on the show. They have the money. What else are you going to spend it on? Right? There's not a ton of really, really good free agents out there that you want to spend it on. So if you have the money under the cap, give it to Seth Jarvis, right? By the way, that's just, and I know that Canes culture is so wildly healthy. And Rod Brindamore guards it so closely. And guys like Jordan Martinook and Jordan Stahl are such tone setters in that locker room. I get it. But it's good for your culture to reward the guys that do what you ask, right? Seth Jarvis came up as a 20-year-old playing like a 30-year-old for a coach that demanded veteran-style decision-making. Sacrifices his body, back checks. He's not the biggest dude in the world. Plays physical, plays through injury, makes the right play more often than the glory play for himself. Like when somebody is doing that, it's good for the culture to reward that with a long-term deal, to hitch your wagon to what he's pulling for the next 8 years. I say 8 years, $8 million. He's 22, 23 right now. He could take another bite at the apple at 30, 31. Like that's all setting your player up to basically to make a lot of money, but be rewarded for, being a mature young player that you've depended on in big minutes, and he's played well in the postseason. Like there's very few questions I have about Seth Jarvis. Pay the man his money.
And you're just adding to your young core of young players that you've signed long-term with, guys like Sebastian Aho, Andrei Svechnikov, Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Why not just go ahead and let Seth Jarvis be a part of that group? And with the Hurricanes' huge one-day contract signing of Eric Staal to retire as a member of the Carolina Hurricanes, out of, I'm going to call this generation Hurricane roster, Copper Drop, Sebastian Aho will be the first player to have his jersey retired.
Ooh, this one's tough. This is tough. I definitely think Aho will. I think by the time Aho's done, he's going to own just about every record, right? He's all like the on pace for stats, and he has a game that I think is going to age well. So I definitely think he will get his number in the rafters. The question for me is, and I said this earlier, I think Jordan Staal is one Stanley Cup away.
Yeah.
So what you're asking me is, do you think the Carolina Hurricanes are going to win a Stanley Cup before Jordan Staal retires?
I mean, yeah, I guess in the grand scheme of things, I am.
Which is such a tough thing to answer. And like I tend to dabble a little bit in the gambling world. My gambler small voice trying to be smart is saying it's always smart to bet the field if it's the field versus one team. So who's going to win the Stanley Cups in the next 4 years? The field or the Canes? Smart to bet the field. That's not fun, though. So I'll say Jordan Staal gets his, he'll be right next to his brother. But that, with the caveat being, that means they win one of the next four cups before he retires. So give me Staal, and then next to him will likely be Aho.
Yeah, it's like in the NCAA tournament or any pro sports game, taking the under on the amount of points total. Nobody wants to do that.
It's fun. Life's too short to bet the under.
But this is, of course, no gambling advice. Moving on to college football, different verse, same as the first for North Carolina as they begin their fall practice last night. Matt Brown was asked, was there any indication between Connor Harrell or Max Johnson to give him an early idea of who the starting quarterback would be? And, of course, Matt Brown just kind of gave us the same answer. So, Tim, Copper Drop, Matt Brown's going to wait until game week to announce the starter for the Tar Heels.
Not game week, but close to. He talked to us at ACC kickoff, and he hinted at he'd like to have one 7 to 10 days.
And I guess I should specify, like, on Monday of that game going into Minnesota.
I think he'll have it set, probably announced at the latest sometime during the week before game week, which is, I'll tell you what every coach wants to have happen. They want every quarterback competition, every competition at any position to be grabbed and taken by one of the players, right? Play so much better in training camp that they don't have a choice but to name you the starter. And once that happens, you back out, right? Once that happens, you settle down and you say, all right, This is the way we're going. What probably keeps coaches up at night is what happens if they play well, right? And it's not like, oh gosh, we don't have a guy, but they play the same, right? The same quality. That's tough, right? You're playing both 7.5s out of 10. Then who do you choose? Because you don't just want to choose like who you like. You want to choose who gives you the best chance to win. But 7.5 and 7.5, you're splitting hairs. It's tough. But there has to be a deadline. And Mac Brown said pretty clearly to us, I don't want to do it on game day. That's not fair to the backup. That's not fair to the starter. That's not fair to the team.
Yep.
So I think he understands you need to get 7 days minimum to like wrap your head around it, right? Because the first time you're named the starter, guess what happens? Your aunt and uncle send you a text. Oh, congratulations! All your friends from high school are like, "Yo, can we get tickets?" Like your parents get all proud. Like it's a whole thing. And if you do that like 2 days before the game, it's too much of an emotional roller coaster.
Nobody's gonna be able to get flights up to Minnesota before Thursday night.
You need to get like 3 or 4 days to wrap your head around being the starter, and everybody else too, and then 4 or 5 days to actually prepare to be the starter. So I think he understands that. He's been around a long time. I think they'll do it 8, 9, 10 days minimum before first game.
Not to get too far behind the scenes here, but they do have 2 days at least before they go into the game week off from practice. So if I had to guess, they probably would announce the starter that final day of the week and then give either Connor Harrell or Max Johnson 2 days just to soak it in and, get those text messages. Mom, I'm the starter. It all goes out on the message boards, the alerts. And then when they come in for that game week against Minnesota, it's, laser focus. All right, I'm getting the first reps. Let's go beat the Gophers. Speaking –
Wait. I just want to let you in on a little secret. Those 2 off days, they ain't off for the quarterbacks. You can't make them come in. Coaches can't say you have to be in. Quarterbacks better be in that film room quite a bit those 2 days when you're off.
Or that's when you're running those one-on-one routes with your star receiver that you're going to be throwing a lot of passes to.
Receivers might need to get their legs, right? So if they want to throw, you can. It's the mental side that the quarterbacks, those 2 days, you might sleep in till 8 rather than 5:30, but you're going to be spending a lot of time in the facility regardless. Quarterbacks don't really get like completely true off days.
There's no time off, yeah.
It's what you sign up for, right? You get to be the one in all the pictures, the one with all the media, the one who gets all the credit, but you also, your off days are maybe off mornings, right? You get to go to spend a little more time in the dining hall before you get to work.
Staying with North Carolina, the hype is real for Omarion Hampton, as it should be, because he's put up ridiculous numbers, almost unhuman-like numbers the past 2 years for North Carolina. So, Tim, Copper Drop, Omarion Hampton will put himself in the Heisman Trophy conversation this season.
Interesting. My hesitation has nothing to do with Omarion Hampton. More to do with I'm not sure the Heisman voters will put a running back. Maybe actually, I think they could have him as a finalist.
See, that's fair. That's fair. I was gonna say the same thing.
Last year, he had 1,500 rushing yards and 15 touchdowns, and that was with sharing a lot of the goal line carries and stuff with Drake May, who I don't think you'll be sharing them with. Like he can get all of those touchdowns this year, and can probably be a better check down in the passing game for whatever quarterback ends up being the starting quarterback. So his statistical potential is out there. There's 2 things that make me worry about him being in the Heisman race. One, he's a running back, and it just seems like the award goes to the best quarterback in the country recently. 2, I'm not sure they'll give it to a team that like isn't in their conference championship unless it's a quarterback. Like to be a running back, you almost have to be the best player on the best offense on the best team in a power conference, like
playing in the college football playoffs.
Yeah, and I'm not sure UNC gets there, partially due to the uncertainty at quarterback. So I'm gonna drop it, but I'm gonna say that North Carolina fans will probably have a really good argument that he should be in the Heisman race, but the Heisman voters won't hear it.
Well, just think about Jaden Daniels.
So Jaden Daniels, but that's a quarterback, and he had
and the committee loves to look at quarterbacks
are different. So yeah, I think Omarion, like, I don't think he'll be in the Heisman conversation, but I think that's because he's going to get snubbed from the Heisman conversation, not because he's actually deserving not to.
Fair enough.
Which is very specific prediction, but that's what came to my brain.
Right down the road in Durham, Duke also finds himself in a quarterback competition between Grayson Loftus and Malik Murphy. We spoke about this earlier. If you missed that conversation, check it out on the Fans YouTube channel. But as they head into their fall practice tonight, Copper drop, Manny Diaz will wait until the game week to announce his starting quarterback.
No, I think Manny knows. I also think Manny Diaz, the coach of Duke, and maybe this is recency bias. Felt like he got it, meaning like the interpersonal, like the social sides of being a head coach. Felt like he got it more this time than he did when he was at Miami, which is what should happen, right? You have an opportunity, it doesn't go well, you take a step back, you regroup, you evaluate, you try to fix the issues, learn. You get another opportunity to be a head coach in the same conference. So I think he'll understand the importance of getting the team to rally behind one guy, whoever that is. And, it was funny because, the clip we played earlier, and I'll paraphrase it quickly, he said, we have two guys we can win with. And then he got ahead of me. He said, and this is not the cliche where it's if you have two quarterbacks, you actually have no quarterbacks. He was saying we actually have two guys we know we can win with. But just by saying that tells me he knows the cliche, right? Just by saying that, he knows, all right, one of these guys is going to have to grab this job by the horns, or else we're going to be one of those teams that's caught in limbo. So I think he'll announce, similar 2 weeks before the first game.
And I mean, really, he can't go wrong either way. I mean, I think Grayson Loftus proved himself enough last season, those 5 starts, and of course going toe-to-toe with Drake May in that double overtime against Carolina, and then finish out the season with the win in the Birmingham Bowl. I think Grayson Loftus has proved himself, but again, you bring in a guy from Texas.
Whoever that is there's gonna be some obstacles early in the season for Duke. They lost a lot of talent from last year. Jordan Moore is great at wide receiver. Jaquez Moore is a playmaker at running back. But they lost like NFL players on the offensive line. They lost future NFL players on the defensive line to the transfer portal. Aeneas Peoples to Virginia Tech jumps to my mind. Barton, the first-round pick, right, of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at center. They've got some work to do at Duke for whoever's the quarterback. So, naming Grayson Loftus or naming Malik Murphy the starting quarterback, that doesn't say like, all right, they're going to play great. They're going to have some tough times, some obstacles, some adversity early in that season.
Well, speaking of their early portion of the season, when they do play those teams like Elon, UConn at home, and then they go on the road to play Northwestern and Middle Tennessee, after that, it's a gauntlet. UNC on the road, Florida State and SMU at home, Miami and NC State on the road as well. So I'm going to give you a little scenario here. Copper dropped him. Duke loses to both UNC and NC State. They're triangle rivals, but upset Florida State and SMU at home.
Okay, say the question, just the question part again.
Duke loses to both UNC and NC State, but they upset Florida State and SMU at home.
I'm dropping that happening. It's just too specific of a prediction. That's unreal. But I'll give you my vibes on those. I could see them pulling off one big upset. I don't know which that will be, right? It could be if State is rolling, it could be State. If State kind of underlooks or undervalues, overlooks, I should say, Duke. Florida State and Clemson, I mean, if they can pull off either one of those wins, I think they'd be very pleased with it. You saw what the Clemson win did last year to start their season. So there's options there for Duke, but I don't know if I'm outright picking them in any of those 4 games.
It's one of those days where after those first 4 opening games, I mean, there's still 7 games left on the schedule. I mean, they're tough, but they should win a couple of those. If not, then they kind of hit their floor 4-8 for this upcoming season under head coach Manny Diaz.
It's one of those really strange thought exercises for when you're looking at a team's full roster, where you look at it, or full schedule, not full roster, and you say I think they could win 6 games, but then if you're going in individually and picking games, you only pick them to win 3 of them. But you're like, yeah, but they're gonna win 3 others. I just don't know which of the 3, so I'm like, it's a really weird thought exercise. So yeah, I wouldn't pick them individually to win any of those 4 games. I think they could realistically pull off the upset in 1 or 2 of them.
Moving on to NC State, going back to a little bit of a Heisman conversation, Copper drop. Casey Concepcion will put himself in the Heisman conversation as a contender.
I have him as a one of the names in the mix for the Biletnikoff, which goes to the best wide receiver in the entire country. I don't see a wide receiver working their way. I mean, Devontae Smith is the last time, and he put up bananas numbers that were also buoyed by, the rest of the offense around him and the quarterback being pretty darn talented, being a future NFL guy. That was, I think, a Mac Jones year. So I'm going to say no just because that's so rare. But if a wide receiver were going to put themselves into it, it would either be him, the Taitai Roa wide receiver from Arizona. There's like a Hunter from Colorado if he does some great things offensively and still is playing on defense. Like, there are some names, but Casey Concepcion would have one of the best chances of wide receivers to be in the Heisman race, even if I'm not predicting it to happen.
And it's also like you talked about with North Carolina. There's certain factors that go into, if you're a part of the Heisman conversation, chances are your team is in the conference championship. They have a chance for the college football playoffs.
State would have to be very, very good. They'd have to live up to their potential with all the transfers in order for Concepcion to have that chance.
And also,
side note, with a wide receiver, you'd also need like Grayson McCall.
Yep.
To not play outlandishly well, because if a wide receiver and a quarterback play well, we tend to give the credit to the quarterback more than the wide receiver.
But that's like, in order for NC State to accomplish all those things, you need Grayson McCall to play well. So, yeah, that's fair. Dropping on that. And then finally going to the Olympics, copper drop. Jason Tatum will play in the U.S. men's basketball team game against South Sudan tomorrow.
Yes, he will, and he has to because Steve Kerr made it weird. Because he didn't play him in the first game, now he has to play him in the second game, or else it becomes a whole vendetta thing where people are looking into the relationships. He has to. By the way, South Sudan, featuring a player that's going to be playing in the Triangle next year. Kamen Malawash, who is a incoming freshman for Duke, plays for South Sudan. They got the first Olympic game victory. They won a game to start their Olympics. I believe it's the first one for a African country from the continent of Africa in a while. So they've got something going. Carleek Jones, very, very good on that team as well. So Malawash, watch for him if you are a Duke fan, but I still think USA is going to win the game.
There you have it.
There you have it. Cop or drop here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. We hear from many of you coming up next. We get to a feedback frenzy right after this. Stick around.
Are you ready?
From 54, snap and hold are good. Kick is on the way, plenty of leg, and it is good!
Over the middle it goes, and he's got Puka Nacua to the 30, to the 20. No one's going to catch him.
Back to throw, Crosby off the edge, and he's got him back at the 23!
Tua back to throw. Deep down the numbers on the left, and the Cheetahs got it! Touchdown!
The NFL kicks off August 1st. On 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at renofi.com/notices. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
John, I'm putting my foot down. We can't put off renovating this house any longer. Our kitchen is so small. We need to finish the basement for the kids, and don't even get me started on the bathrooms.
Honey, renovating is so expensive. We can't do all those projects.
With Renofi, we can.
What's Renofi?
Renofi loans are a new type of home equity loan only for homeowners doing renovations. We can get up to $500,000 and keep our existing low mortgage rate locked in.
With Renofi, we can do everything on our renovation list and we don't have to refinance?
That's right. Renofi loans are the only home equity loan that use the after renovation value.
Just what we need. How do we get started with Renofi?
Just send them a text.
Text TRANSFORM to 323232 and see if you qualify for up to $500,000 to renovate your home with Renofi. Unlock the future value of your home right now to get the money you need without refinancing. Text the word TRANSFORM to 323232 to get started today. Text TRANSFORM to 323232.
NMLS number 1802847. Not all borrowers or properties qualify. Loan terms apply.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right. Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
Theater Raleigh presents Bull Durham, a new musical playing Reynolds Industries Theater in Durham, September 10th through the 22nd. Based on the classic movie, follow Crash Davis and his Durham Bulls story in a new genre. Details and ticket info at theaterraleigh.com.
An army never rests. The same is true for the Salvation Army of Wake County. Serving the most vulnerable populations in our community, the Army shelters the homeless, feeds the hungry, provides after-school and youth athletic programs, senior programs, and responds to natural disasters. Beyond the red kettle and Christmas bell ringing, the Army is there to help those in need all year long. Learn more at wakearmy.org. The Salvation Army. We love beyond the holidays.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We all need to put our support behind the men's indoor volleyball team for Team USA. They started up 2-0. Now it's 2-2, and they're in the fifth set. I guess 2 sets to none. Now it's 2-2. Germany's making a comeback. 4-4 in the fifth. We need Team USA to get it together. In the meantime, we're going to get it together with a little feedback frenzy. This is where we patrol the interwebs for comments from our YouTube channel, which, by the way, subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Set those alerts. Like, comment, share, all those things. We would greatly appreciate it. It's called 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. While you're there, check out some videos. But also, comment, because you might just hear your comments in the next feedback frenzy. Graham, what do we have?
We also read all the mean things that you say about us. We also shout you out, though, and bring up good points of topic or conversations, but it's mostly reading the mean things you say about us. But it is what it is. This goes back to our conversation yesterday about Mac Brown calling out Mike Elko after his departure to Texas A&M. Ron Odell, 2935, said, get off Mac Brown. He's a class act. If you want to talk about a jerk, and this is not me saying this, NC State fans. Again, this is Ron Odell, 2935. If you want to talk about a jerk, talk about NC State's coach. He also go on to say, one would think you'd have something better to talk about. Dang,
well,
Ron.
This is an all-time misunderstanding. I like it when coaches show a little bit of sandpaper.
I do too.
That was not a knocking of Mac Brown conversation. If it came across that way, I apologize. It was a compliment. It was Mac Brown is not the old coach with just Southern charm that others make him out to be. He's still got some fight left in him.
He's not the 70-year-old grandpa-style coach that a lot of people feel like he is.
By the way, I like when Dave Doran shows the fight that he shows.
I mean, last time I checked, was it North Carolina and Duke rivals and then weren't NC State and Carolina rivals? You would feel like there should be some trash talking in between there.
That is a complete misunderstanding of what I intended. If you think I was somehow being negative to Mac Brown, or maybe that's your interpretation of it. Maybe you think coaches should not be a little salty, a little trash talky. If you don't think that's the right way to be, then you got to take it up with Mac. I like it, right? I like that Mac was pointing out the tampering done with Omari and Hampton. I like that Mac was calling up Mike Elko and calling him a liar for saying that he was going to be at Duke longer than Mac Brown was at UNC. I like that Mac was doing it. I feel like I've been very complimentary of Mac Brown recently, so that's a comment that I don't think I've earned. There will be times this year where I have to call them as I sees them. And if UNC does something I don't like, I'll probably have to, or they show up not ready for a game, I'm going to have to talk about UNC in more harsh tones, but that was not one of them.
Well, I need to correct myself going back to something that I talked about yesterday, and we were discussing UNC football's quarterback battle, where I brought up the example of we didn't really know what Drake May was going to be in his first year playing at Carolina because, as Glenn Russis, 3324, pointed out, May was a big-time recruit, as you did as well. Mac flipped him from Bama. I get that. I'm just saying the way that Mac Brown presented it going to the game week when he was battling Jacoby Criswell for the starting spot, it almost made you think, well, is the hype going to live up to what we're expecting out of Drake May? Because he was going to Alabama, and then he did flip to North Carolina, and then he had the family legacy. So that's just what I meant by my comment.
Yeah, Drake was pretty hyped. Everybody knew, and they did flip him from Bama, but he was not going to be like the biggest recruit Bama had ever gotten. But it was similar to when Sam Howell flipped from Florida State. It was like, all right, there's the next guy in line. For Sam Howell, was immediately into the starting spot. For Drake May, it was you're gonna have to wait 1 year. But I know Drake May was good.
I guess a little naive Graham fell into exactly what Mac Brown was setting out for the media, and I fell into as far as, well, dang, it must really be a true quarterback competition going into, and it might
wanted to make the
be.
highly recruited guy win the competition. Go out there and earn it, right? We're not just going to give it to you, but I think it was obvious who was going to earn that start.
Chef 8569 was happy enough to let us know yesterday during our conversation with the Carolina Hurricanes re-signing Maury Necas. LOL, all they did is buy out his arbitration years. Nothing exciting or great.
Well, it shows that, first of all, they bought out his arbitration year, so they didn't have to go to arbitration, which is great for a player that there's been some animosity, right? Whether it's we learned about it through his dad in interviews or just kind of body language. There's been some animosity between player and team. So not having to go to arbitration is a big deal. Secondly, it sets it up in stone, right? You now know what his cap hit's going to be. You know what his contract is going to be, so you can build around it. And yeah, I mean, it's not like – I think I even said it later on in the show. Don't confuse a 2-year contract with an 8-year contract, right? It's not finished. It's not, okay, now he's a cornerstone. It's you've bought some more time, right? You've bought just a little more time to figure out if you can make it work, if you can unlock his true potential, if you can make him happy, if he does what the team wants him to do. And then if all those things happen, you come back to the negotiating table with better vibes, a better relationship, and a better understanding of what his worth is. So, no, it's not earth-shattering, but it's good for the Canes, and it's something that was hanging over them all offseason.
And it gives the Hurricanes a chance to see, or it gives the Carolina Hurricanes a chance in these next 2 years where if Maury Necas is able to prove himself, and 2 years from now, if he still wants to stay with the group, a chance might open up for him to move into that center role, something that he's been wanting, or that was the main thing that he wanted going into this offseason.
Or can he have so much success on the wing that he realizes he doesn't need to play center, right? Because I don't see, unless something changes, I don't see Rod giving him legitimate minutes as like a second-team center. I do see them giving him a lot of responsibility on that second line as a winger to score and create and all of that. So it's 2 more years. And by the way, it's a tradable asset. If it comes to the trade deadline and he's playing well, but it's still not meshing, trade him for someone who you think will mesh. Like it's 2 years, $6.5 million. Nobody is going to balk at acquiring that kind of contract for a player like Martin Necas.
This is actually just a good topic of conversation that Carla Jenkins TV brought up to us during the video. ACC has been more successful than Big Ten. The issue is since 2020, she says. The issue since 2020, no ACC has won a playoff or New Year's Six Bowl. The Big Ten has. These TV contracts are made in the postseason. That is why the Big Ten out-earns the ACC.
Hold on here. What about – let's rewind, right? These contracts, these media contracts that were signed, weren't signed since 2020. They were signed before 2020. They were signed when Clemson was in the middle of their runs to national championships. They were signed when Florida State was still a contending champion, right? If the money follows the championships and these contracts were signed when the ACC was winning championships, there's a disconnect there. The ACC's media rights deals have not changed since 2020. If you say that the ACC is on a bit of a downslope since 2020, that's fair, but nothing has changed since then. The contract has been set since before.
Television-wise, yeah.
So if the media money follows the championships, which, by the way, Michigan last year, that's all the Big Ten has. If you want to do that, then the ACC should be making a boatload of money. You can't since 2020 doesn't really matter when these deals have been in. That's why we picked 15 years when we talked about it, because those were the years that were actually establishing what was going into the contracts that they were signed. Secondly, I'll say this. Jim Harbaugh's not walking through that door. Actually, he is. He's just wearing Chargers uniform or Chargers gear, and he's going to be scouting Michigan players. There's a changing that has happened in the Big Ten that we'll see. And with college football expanding their playoffs, maybe there will be more opportunity for Big Ten schools to make it. But if you want to go off of who's made more stars, who's won more trophies in the era of the college football playoff, in the era of modern media, the ACC wins.
BMC 555 in response to our conversation of
Wait, what is it? Beat ACC?
BMCC.
BMCC. Got you.
55-5 said in response to our discussion of the Carolina Panthers wide receivers being the talk of training camp, I like all the insight we're getting from the receiver core, but at the same time, our head coach, referencing Dave Canales, has said we're going to be a running team, but no running back news or updates.
Well, we have heard that Miles Sanders is intense.
Yeah, he's treating practices like game day.
Today, first day in pads, he's intense. He's yelling at the media. You guys, I don't know exact words because they're not allowed to report on what's said by players on the field. But he basically made it very clear to the media that he has heard the naysayers and he is out to prove them wrong. He lowered the boom, ran somebody over. Miles Sanders apparently looks good.
Started a little bit of a scuffle amongst the
scuffles.
team.
Chuba Hubbard was in a scuffle with Jadeveon Clowney. So the running backs, I think it makes sense that before they put on full pads, we heard a lot about the wide receivers. And then since they put on full pads, now we're starting to hear more about the running backs. Just that seems to make a little bit of sense to me.
Yeah, it seems like going to the full pad practices, that was sort of the bit with Dave Canales, right? As far as all you're going to get is, Jonathan Brooks is still recovering. Chuba Hubbard looks good. Miles Sanders is physical. But as far as how a rotation is going to look or how they're going to utilize each of the running backs in the room, what Jonathan Brooks' plan is going to be for the offense when he comes back in the later or midway through the season, Dave Canales just kept it very silent because, as he said, this game and this offense is going to be dictated by the success of the run game. He doesn't want to reveal too much, which is fair.
And I think they're going to need all three. I mean, running the volume that they want to run, knowing Jonathan Brooks is coming back from an injury, knowing running backs get hurt even if they come into the season completely healthy. I think they're going to end up using all three. It's just a matter of how many carries for each. But Chuba Hubbard, Miles Sanders, and Jonathan Brooks all have their opportunity to make an impact. That'll do it for this Feedback Frenzy here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. We'll take a break. When we come back, the starting five. Stick around.
It's the summer of soccer.
Federski for Capetti. It's stolen away by Hack. Kept alive by Gaines. A shot. He scores!
All the saves.
Polina with brilliant, quick footwork across his 6-yard box to be able to recover and grab the strike from Kubo.
All the goals.
Clinton sends it back into the area for Swiderski. One touch. He scores!
The Triangle's home for Charlotte FC action. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Grilling, better with Pepsi.
For a limited time, get 2 20-ounce Pepsis for only $4.25 at Refuel. So hurry in and enjoy an ice-cold Pepsi today.
What's wrong?
My travel rewards card didn't earn enough miles for my vacation.
Are you crying? Are you crying because of that other credit card?
Uh-huh.
Well, switch to the Capital One Venture card. Venture lets you redeem miles on any travel purchase.
Really?
Yep, and you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every single day. The Capital One Venture card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Is foot pain keeping you from living the life you love? Hi, it's Jonathan Cotton with the Good Feet Store, and life is too short to be living with foot, knee, or back pain. When all 4 arches in your feet are supported, The results can be amazing. Go to goodfeet.com to make your appointment today.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and they are the best place to bet the games this summer because right now new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 wager wins. Then you can bet on all your favorite international teams in all your favorite sports. Basketball to badminton, soccer to swimming. FanDuel's got it all, so don't miss your chance to score $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Go to FanDuel.com/AdamGold, sign up, and start betting the games today. We make every moment more with FanDuel. 21 or over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
What a comeback!
Visit GotBrian.com. That's GotBrian.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. It is a hot day out there today. The heat index climbing into the 90s, even triple digits in a few spots. A couple of storms will be around through the evening, and then overnight tonight it's warm with a low of 73. Late day storms possible again Wednesday with a high of 95.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 203 points at 40,743.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for the starting five. And as always, about 5 o'clock, we do the starting five, and we start with number 5. Listen to 99.9 The Fan for coverage of the Summer Games from France. Here's the current medal count presented by North Carolina FC. The United States picked up another medal. It was not gold. So they extend their lead, meaning we, the United States, extends our lead in total medals. We have 26. Next closest is France with 18. However, Japan stays in the lead for gold medals with 7. China and Australia tied with 6. France and Korea tied with 5. And Great Britain has pulled up into a tie for 6th with the United States with 4 gold medals apiece. The gold medals have come for the United States in artistic gymnastics, meaning gymnastics. That's the women's team, gold medal. Fencing, Lee Kiefer won a gold medal in women's foil individual, and 2 gold medals in swimming, 1 in the women's 100-meter butterfly for Tori Husky, and another in the men's 4x100-meter freestyle relay. Those are the 4 gold for the United States. They are in 6th, a tie for 6th in overall gold medals. First place by ourselves, by a long shot, in total medals. The Summer Games updates on 99.9 The Fan are brought to you by North Carolina FC. Get your tickets today at northcarolinafc.com. Looking at the Olympics and what else has been going on, if you haven't yet seen the handful of really cool things that have taken place, you should check them out. Steven Nedorozic of the men's gymnastics team putting a pommel horse of his life together to get the men their first team Olympics gymnastics medal in 16 years. Simone Biles and the women's gymnastics team going absolutely haywire. Do you know how good the three-headed monster of great U.S. gymnasts we have? Simone Biles, Sunisa Lee, and Jordan Childs?
Stacked.
So there's a team event, right, which just took place today. They won gold, where you do the 4 apparatus, right? We're talking uneven bars, we're talking vault, we're talking floor exercise, and we're talking something else that balance beam. The United States gets to bring 5 women to the competition. One of them, they didn't have go out there for any of the apparatus because Biles, Childs, and Lee are so unbelievably talented that even a specialist at one event can't be better at any event than they are at every event.
That's just the definition of being too good.
So they have Carrie, who did a vault, and then the other 3 just said, we're good. We got the rest.
Yeah.
And that's unreal. That's okay, you got to run a 100-meter dash, a mile, you got to do the pole vault, and you got to throw the shot put, and you can have 5 people do it, and 3 are like, nope, we're going to do all 3. We're going to do all 4 events. You're good. You can chill. That's unreal. They're very, very good. The other one that stuck out to me is the walk-off try. I learned that it's called a try in women's rugby. The United States women's rugby, basically, right? This is the way I describe it as a football fan. Basically, scored a 95-yard kickoff return for a touchdown as time expired to walk off the victory in an upset against Australia to give the United States their first ever medal in women's rugby.
Full Auburn versus Alabama kick 6.
Spiff Cedric is her name. Spiff. You should have known as soon as they gave the ball to Spiff. Spiff was going to score. 95 yards, ran over a defender, straight back to the turf, right? That's I was just talking with somebody, like a 9-year-old or something, and the mother, right, because they knew that I was in sports, came up and said, like, hey, do you have any tips for getting grass stains out of jerseys? Like, everywhere he goes, he comes back with grass stains on his jerseys. I said, are they on the front of your jersey or the back of the jersey? They said front. I said, you don't get those out. Those are badges of honor.
Exactly.
That means you're not falling on your back. That
you're
means
slide tackling right.
That means you're the one delivering the force. The United States Spiff Cedric in women's rugby put the Australian defender on her back. The grass stains for Australia were on the back of the jersey, as she then put cleat marks on the front of her jersey and then took off down the field for a 95-yard walk-off try.
Rugby's insane.
Rugby is insane. Rugby, like, I played American football. I like to think American football players pretty tough, pretty physical. We were always pretty big guys, worked out a lot, pretty good athletes. I never messed with hockey players or rugby players as far as, like, getting into a comp, like oh, you guys aren't tough, or our sport is tougher. Basketball, we can argue all day. Lacrosse, even though some lacrosse guys would get real loud about how tough we got you all day. Soccer, we get track, we got you. I don't mess around with the hockey players. Like, you're right. Rugby players, you're right. Especially because at our school, rugby was a club sport. I'm like, oh, so you're just choosing to put up with that.
Yeah, you're just choosing violence.
That's
you're just choosing violence.
It's like you got spare time, you want to go get your tooth knocked out and then get right back into the game and try to keep playing. You are something else. With that being said, let's jump to number 4.
We are the 4 horsemen. Woo!
Eric Stahl. Well, what's going on here?
Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
We changed the background on me. If you're watching on YouTube, you just saw the Duke
logo with Eric Stahl being mentioned.
Pop up, and we're talking Eric Stahl here. Eric Stahl, since the move from Hartford to Carolina for the Carolina Hurricanes, Eric Stahl is at so many of the points, assists, goals, hat tricks, power play goals, power play points. He had, I think it was 72 game winners in his career, game-winning goals. There's an absurd amount of ability for Eric Stahl, an absurd amount of good memories for Canes fans involving Eric Stahl. He is officially signing a one-day contract to retire as a Carolina Hurricane, and with that agreement, he will part of that agreement is he will attend a game this year where they will put his jersey in the rafters, number 12, retired, never to be worn again by a Carolina Hurricane. Few things pop into my mind. One, deserving, right? Deserving the production that we've already talked about. He should be up in the rafters. Second thing that came into my mind is lucky. And I'm not saying him, I'm saying the Carolina Hurricanes, that 06 team being built so quickly from a team that moves, that's lucky, right?
Yeah.
That turns you into a hockey town quick. But you look at some of the players involved, Rod Brindamore, right? A player who I'm not sure if there's somebody else in that situation that could have led that team in that way. Eric Stahl, lucky, right? Second overall pick, 100 points in his second year in the league. Like there's every championship comes with a certain, like, it feels like the planets have to align in order for it to happen. But it does feel like the planets had to align for that championship to happen. And I think, especially with the current core and what they're going through now and realizing how difficult it is to make those last 3 steps to get to a Stanley Cup and win it. That 06 team was pretty special. And, Justin Williams and Cam Ward, and you can go on and on. The more that the Canes get the opportunity to celebrate that group, I think they should, right? If there were ever any, I don't know, Eric Stahl finished his career somewhere else and he only 12 years, is that enough? If it ever comes down to maybe you should or maybe you shouldn't, I think the answer is you should celebrate that 2006 championship team because not everybody gets that.
I mean, it brings up a great topic of conversation. You could spend a whole segment on this. Or if there was a Carolina Hurricanes Mount Rushmore built outside of PNC Arena, a good majority of that 2006 Stanley Cup team, it feels like, would have to make up a lot of those faces, right?
It's just so hard to put anyone else up there when they don't have a Stanley Cup. It's Sebastian Aho right now, I think, is an everything but player. Jordan Stahl, everything but. That's a big but, right? It's big, however, in the middle of that sentence. So, yeah, I wouldn't be upset if, and I'm not, by the way, we're not doing this right now because I have not researched it enough and it's going to give me anxiety. Not really, but I don't want to open up this can of worms. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did a Mount Rushmore of Canes if all 4 of them were on that championship team.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I'd argue that hard against it. But again, I have not put all my thought into that one. Graham sprung it on me. I'm kidding.
It's my bad.
No, it's good. It's good conversation. Maybe we'll do that at some point in time. But yeah, they were all from that championship team. Eric Stahl would be one of them. I don't think that's fair. Might be those 4 I mentioned. Cam Ward, Justin Williams, Rod Brindamore, Eric Stahl. Just off the
maybe throw in Ron Francis.
Rod Francis. Some of that came with Hartford, though, right?
Yeah.
If we open up it to Hartford, then there's a whole other deal. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3.
1, 2, 3.
Duke football, first practice today. I'll tell you what the challenge is for Duke. There's
their schedule.
I was going to say there are tangible challenges. Schedule, picking a quarterback, replacing Graham Barton, replacing Aeneas Peoples, replacing Riley Leonard.
Adapting to change.
All of that is there. But if we want to get more philosophical with it, right? If we want to get more 1,000-yard stare with it, the challenge for Duke football this year is it's it's an oxymoron. They need to build off of last year while also starting fresh.
Yeah.
Like those two things inherently don't go along, right? But you'd be foolish to not try to build off of what last season was. That Clemson win was one of the more electric atmospheres that Duke football could ever produce. College game day on campus. That game against Notre Dame where you stood toe-to-toe with Notre Dame and all their 4- and 5-star recruits and took them down to the wire. The night games consecutively, all the eyeballs that were on your program, rising as high as, I believe, 15 in the AP poll. Like, all of that is something you should build off of. However, that's all also the Mike Elko era. So you want to start the Manny Diaz era fresh. That's the challenge, right? How do you build off of something while also kind of distancing yourself from it? It's a philosophical conundrum.
It's almost like outside of everything you accomplished last year with guys like Jordan Moore and David Feely, director of football sports performance. I mean, you really are just starting fresh. It's hard to build off the performance.
But you also want
or momentum.
You want Jordan Moore to remember it. And you want Jaquez Moore to pass along that experience, right? And this is what we did. This is how we got there. This is what it was like to win the big game. Like that all of that is important. You want Trey Freeman to say, hey, I made 100 tackles for a team that accomplished some really cool things. At ACC kickoff, I asked Manny Diaz about building off of momentum from last season. This is what he had to say.
Well, the first key was retaining David Feely in the weight room. That was the whole key. That was the whole key for me coming. That's a key for our players. And to the essence of your question is, every coach could talk to you here this week, and they're all going to talk about establishing our culture and culture. Well, when you have David Feely in your weight room, the culture's already established. Culture is a fancy word that just means, like, what are we willing to do for one another? Mm-hmm. Well, in our strength program, the guy won Strength Coach of the Year. It's not just about pushing weights. It's about how they run, how they grind, the discipline they have, the leadership skills that they're forced to use on each other. That is the culture.
I agree with him. I agree with him in a lot of ways. I do think a lot of the culture of your program is set in the strength and conditioning staff. It's set in the weight room.
The off-season, even though there is no off-season in college football nowadays.
During the non-game playing season, the off-season, that's what we used to call it, you see your strength and conditioning coach way more than you see any other coach. Your position coach, your coordinator, your head coach, and they do set the tone. So that's a great answer by Manny Diaz to say, well, we can build off of it last year by keeping what led to last year in place during the offseason. Now you can window dressing, right? You can rearrange the deck chairs, right? You move the furniture around in the house with a different offense, with a different coach, with a different pregame speech. But he's basically saying the bones of this program are what's built in the strength and conditioning staff, and they retained that. So I thought that was a great answer by Manny Diaz.
I also like, because I know I keep, kind of hammering the point over the head with their schedule, but I like what Manny Diaz also said at ACC Kickoff as far as it's not about who we're playing to win against, it's who we're playing to not beat ourselves against. Each week, our opponent has no name, no number, because then when you look at the schedule, you can be like, oh, this opponent's not that good. We don't have to go, as hard in practice this week. Or, oh, we got ranked Florida State coming to town on a Friday night. We got to ramp up the energy in practice. No, I mean, if you just keep it, steady and just focus on controlling what you can control, pays off when you get on the field.
And what you're saying, I do think, to connect the 2 points, I think a lot of that starts in the weight room, right? You don't work super hard and push yourself to your breaking point in May to overlook Elon, right? You don't push yourself to your breaking point in June to concede to Florida State, right? You push yourself to the breaking point to give you a chance to win every game. And that investment breeds intensity. That's number 3. Let's jump to number 2.
Just the two of us.
NC State has their first practice today as well, right? Since they're starting on the same day. About a month from now, they get to start their practices on the same day to open training camp. NC State, we talked earlier today about Robert Anai and his challenge as the offensive coordinator of building an offense around so many new faces. The other thing that I think this team has to deal with is they're going to have to get buy-in, similar to what we were talking about with Duke, but in a different way, in that there's only one football.
Yeah.
I guarantee you Justin Jolie, tight end, who had more forced missed tackles than any tight end in the country last year for UConn, came to NC State expecting to be a featured part of the offense. I guarantee you Noah Rogers, former 5-star recruit, went to Ohio State, transferred out of Ohio State, came back home to North Carolina to play for the Wolfpack. I guarantee you he didn't show up thinking he was going to not be a featured part of the offense. Wesley Grimes from Wake Forest, guarantee you he didn't show up thinking he's not going to be a part of the offense. Jordan Waters, running back, same thing. Jonathan Paylor, Terrell Anderson, the top 100 recruits, wide receivers. I'm sure they expect to play and get the opportunity to make an impact as freshmen. Casey Concepcion, he earned every right to be a featured part of the offense. Every game, every one of those players is not going to be featured. There's one ball, right? You can only throw it to one of them on each play. You can only hand it off to one of them on each play. So they're all going to have to become comfortable with a one eats, we all eat mentality, meaning
one pack, one goal.
Yeah, there you go. How on the nose was that? That was unintentional. Like if one of them makes a big play, they have to celebrate it as if all of them made the big play and not go, all right, he made one, now where's mine? Because there's a tendency to do that in specifically wide receiver rooms or within individual position groups where it's like, all right, he got his, now take care of me, right? Or no, you take care of me first before you get to him. I'm the mouth that gets fed first. They have to make sure all of that is quite frankly, not impacting their offense at all.
And I'm not saying this is how it's going to go, but just trying to play devil's advocate here. You know where that really starts to become a problem? When you thought was going to be a, let's say, 6-0 start is all of a sudden a 3-3 start. And there's already,
if that happens,
the ACC championship picture might be out the window. College football playoffs is certainly out the window. And then guys are already thinking, all right, where can I go next? Well, now I need game reps. I need film. That's where it really starts to become an issue.
And I think a lot of it's a trust thing, right? Grayson McCall has to let the defense decide where the ball goes, right? That's where the read took me. Everyone else has to trust Grayson McCall that he's doing that, right? And he's not throwing it to his friend or he's not forcing it to Casey Concepcion. Like he is letting the game come to him. It's a trust thing, and that just comes with time and it comes with reps and it comes with practice, and that all starts today. Dave Doran, head coach UNC. Sorry, head coach NC State. Don't make that mistake. Head coach NC State. There we go. Talked to us at ACC kickoff and talked about distributing the ball all around the offense.
Well, we're going to spread it around, and KC is going to be a big part of what we do, obviously. But there's weapons now, and for Grayson, it's distributing the football to the right guy at the right time, giving them a chance to go make plays for him, understanding what the defense is telling them to do with the rules of the offense. It's going to be harder for people just to say, where is KC? You know, you have Noah Rogers and Dakari Collins and Jordan Waters and Justin Jolie. There's some guys out there that you can't just look at one player, and so that helps the quarterback that they can't just dial in on one person.
It's a gift and a curse. Everybody can make a play, but everybody can't make a play on every play. Got to pick one. Let the defense choose for you. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
Go one!
Panthers, first day in pads. And, as we talked about earlier, the Miles Sanders conversation is the one that seems to be bubbling to the top most often today. Miles Sanders. Here's the deal with Miles Sanders. He was a big money free agent last offseason at running back. Didn't really live up to it this past year. Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard are now rotating with the first team early in camp. Jonathan Brooks still working his way back from injury, the second-round pick. Just because we draw up a depth chart how we think it's going to break, or even just because the coaches draw up a depth chart because it's the way they think it's going to end up, doesn't mean the players have to accept it. Miles Sanders isn't just going to say, cool, I'm third on the depth chart because we look at it from the outside and go, well, Jonathan Brooks is first. They spent the draft pick on him. Chuba Hubbard was the most effective last year, so he's going to be second. And then Miles Sanders, they're not going to cut him because of the money. He's going to end up third. Miles Sanders isn't going to go, cool, good logic.
Sounds good to me.
I'll be in the back of the line. Any of these rookies need mentorship? Like that? No. He isn't going to go down to third on the depth chart without a fight. Bryce Young was asked today, do we have this audiogram? He was asked today about the intensity from Miles Sanders at practice, and he described it in how he should be describing it, how Miles Sanders should be acting, which is intense.
Super intense, and again, that's someone who cares a lot. You know, it was rainy at the start, then great weather, got a little hot at the end, and this is I don't know, practice 4, I want to say, first practice of pads, and you know, he has a game day mentality. You know, he wants to come out here and maximize all of his reps. When he's not getting reps, make sure he's locked in. And that's something that, you know, you love to see in someone like Miles, and something that will permeate through our entire offense. But every rep, he's doing it intentionally. He has that intensity, and, you know, it's super exciting to see.
Miles Sanders might end up third on the depth chart, but he's going to scrap in the meantime to build a role for him and maybe even challenge those guys ahead of him on the depth chart.
Certainly going to do everything to prove to himself that, hey, I was part of a Super Bowl roster a couple of seasons ago.
He's going to run hard. He's going to scrap with Jadeveon Clowney after the whistle if he thinks Jadeveon Clowney did something a little extracurricular. The thing that Miles Sanders did today that showed me everything I'm talking about, he yelled at the media. Big run, touchdown run, ran somebody over, whatever it was. His return back to the huddle, passed by the media. He looked over and he's like, hey, by the way, we don't know the exact words. They're not allowed to report the exact words said on the practice field. But he basically said, like, I hear all of you saying this isn't my job anymore, and just watch. That's what you want your players to do. You want your players to be doing that. So Miles Sanders may have been unbelievably frustrating last year. Right? And by the way, like I've said this before, even going back to his days in Philly, I had him on my fantasy team a few times. So I was paying attention to him, even though he was in Philly. Wildly frustrating. He was always on a snap count. He was always like, well, we want to get him between 10 and 12 touches. And I'm going like, he's your best running back. Give him 25 touches. But it was a groin or a calf or a hammy or a shoulder. He's wildly frustrating. But this is how you want him to react. If suddenly Adam Thielen was not in the when they went with the starting 3 wide receivers, he wasn't in that list, I'd want him reacting like this. I'd want him in one-on-ones challenging J.C. Horn every time. Don't let anyone take your job just because it's talked about. Fight for it. Scrap for it. Be intense. Run people over. It's the woe versus go thing. You know the woe versus go?
I know. Is it similar to X's or Jimmy's and Joe's, not X's and O's?
Well, it is a phrase. Woe versus go is I'd much rather have to tell somebody, whoa, easy, than have to go, come on, man, go. Like, okay. I'd much rather have to rein somebody in than have to, you know, it's like the horse, right? I don't want to be whipping you down the backstretch the whole time if I'd rather have a horse that's running so hard I have to grab the reins and reel it back in a little bit. Miles Sanders seems like through the first day of all padded practice, you might have to tell him, whoa. You might tell him ease up a little bit.
He woke up and chose violence. Like, hey, these are your teammates.
But I'd much rather have that than have somebody going through the motions that I have to go like, come on, man, let's get a spark.
Well, also, I just think for Carolina Panthers fans, as a team, if your offense is going to be set or if the identity of your offense is going to be the run game, you like to see this sort of intensity coming out of the run game with a running back like Miles Sanders.
Yeah, and if he does end up third on the depth chart, when he gets the ball, he's going to be running with a purpose, which is the best kind of, like, I love it when, like, the and this is why it's frustrating for running backs, like the starter has 20 carries, hard fought, maybe 85, 90 yards.
Gets inside the 10 or something.
Then the other guy comes in and defense is tired, right? Body blows, they're wheezing, and the touchdown. And it's like, Starter did all the work, but the fresh legs got the fun. Miles Sanders can be the fresh legs. I think that's fine. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have tickets to see REO Speedwagon at Coastal Credit Union Music Park going to the winner of the numbers game. They're coming on. They're going to play on August 9th. In order to get the tickets, you got to win the numbers game. To win the numbers game, you have to call in 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326 to play the numbers game, which is coming up next. Stick around. Win your weight in meat is back on 99.9 The Fan. Text PORK, P-O-R-K, to 919-860-5326 and enter for your chance to be one of our finalists. Through August 2nd, we'll pick 10 people to come on air during the Drive with me, Tim Donnelly, and share their weight. On August 5th, we will randomly select one lucky winner, and they will score their weight in meat. Served up by the North Carolina Pork Council and their dedicated team of farmers that put bacon and barbecue on your plate. Learn more at ncpork.org.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
Capital Broadcasting Company and NC Beautiful award thousands of azaleas to nonprofit organizations throughout the state. If your organization would like free azaleas, visit us online at wral-gardens.com. Go to the Azalea Celebration tab and fill out an application form by August 31st. Let's keep our state looking clean and beautiful.
Dauntless Transmissions has been the trusted transmission shop in Raleigh for more than 27 years. The experts at Dauntless Transmission are dauntless when it comes to caring for your vehicle. Whether that means a total transmission rebuild, complex engine or brake service, or just a routine tune-up, your vehicle will be dauntless when they're done with it. Visit DauntlessTransmissions.com. Dauntless Transmissions, your local source for exceptional service.
Dauntless is currently looking for skilled auto technicians to join the Dauntless team. Visit DauntlessTransmissions.com/careers to apply.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. The insurance company wants to pay you the least amount possible. Law Tigers are riders too, so we understand what your bike and gear are worth and what you're going through after an accident. Your case evaluation is always free, and we don't get paid until your case settles. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2024 Summer Games. A day of medals, but no golds for the United States in the pool. Reagan Smith and Catherine Burkhoff went silver-bronze behind Australia's Kaylee McEwen in the women's 100-meter backstroke, while Bobby Fink finished second behind Ireland's Daniel Whiffen in the men's 800 free. The U.S. men's 4x200 freestyle relay team took silver behind Great Britain. The U.S. men's basketball team returns to the court tomorrow against South Sudan, but while they enjoy a day off, the 3x3 teams are making their Paris debuts today. The men's team fell to Serbia 22-14. Meanwhile, the women's team lost their opener to Germany 17-13. Both American men's beach volleyball teams were in action today. Miles Partain and Andy Benish won their match in straight sets, while Miles Evans and Chase Buttinger dropped their match in straight sets. And the U.S. women's gymnastics team back on top. They took home the gold medal, led by Simone Biles. With this Summer Games update, I'm Ryan Radke, Westwood One Sports.
Wellness means something different to each of us. And at Westin Hotels and Resorts, we believe every step is an opportunity to enhance your well-being. Whether it's guided group runs and workout gear on demand, or nourishing food options and restorative rest in our heavenly bed, when you travel, you can find wellness at Westin, one of 30 hotel brands in the Marriott Bonvoy portfolio. Find wellness at Westin.
Hi, everyone. Broadcaster and ER physician Dr. Jerry Punch here. We all know about the speed of sound, but have you ever thought about the sounds of speeding? If you drive over the speed limit, there are lots of sounds that you might hear. You could hear the sound of your vehicle crashing, the sound of first responders desperately trying to save you. You could even hear the sound of people crying at a funeral. Because if you drive over the speed limit, you could do damage that's beyond repair. One way or another, speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game, where I get to pretend I'm a game show host. The prize for today is train tickets. Not like tickets on a train, like Drops of Jupiter. Train with REO Speedwagon at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on August 9th. We have a pair of tickets. The contestants for today's show, Austin in Wake Forest and Frank in Clayton. Austin, we'll start with you. In honor of the Olympics going on, the question to see who goes first will be, if you could win a gold medal in any Olympic sport, what Olympic sport are you choosing? And why?
I'm choosing handball.
And why?
Because it's like soccer, which I was never good at, but you get to use your hands, so maybe I'd be good at it now.
That's fair. I said this earlier. I think handball is the best sport for watching it and thinking, I could be pretty good at that, even if we don't think that's not realistic. All right, so Austin, you're in there with handball, international team handball. Let's go to Frank in Clayton. Frank, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. If you could win a gold medal in any Olympic sport, what sport would it be and why?
I don't know. I think I would love the 100-meter dash because I would love to be the fastest human in the world.
That's a pretty good answer. I think I have to lean towards the 100-meter dash. Although handball does look fun, like saying you're the fastest guy in the world, just that's a flex. So Frank and Clayton, you get to go first. Austin, don't worry, you'll have your chance to play and win. You'll just have to wait a little bit. Frank, go ahead and choose out of these categories: NFL Swiftie ? All players with Taylor in their name. NFL James Gang, all players with James in their name. NBA current players only, or NHL Canes and Whalers only?
Canes and Whalers.
Canes and Whalers. Popular category recently. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. You have one pass if you need it. I will say the team, even though we know what the team is in this category, just because keep it fair with the other categories. Any questions before we get started?
Oh, we're good. Thank you.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Eric Stahl, Carolina Hurricanes.
12.
Correct. Elias Lindholm, Carolina Hurricanes.
25. No.
Incorrect. Michael Furland, Carolina Hurricanes.
86.
Incorrect. Elias Lindholm, Carolina Hurricanes.
88.
Incorrect. Michael Furland, Carolina Hurricanes.
Pass.
Max Comtois, Carolina Hurricanes.
18.
Incorrect. Elias Lindholm, Carolina Hurricanes.
Ooh.
Stahl, number 12, you got it. It's going up in the rafters. Furland is number 79. You were in the 80s, which is, I guess, close technically. Lindholm, we would have accepted number 16 or number 28. and Comtois wears number 44, or wore number 44 for the Canes. You did get one, though. You didn't get shut out, so there's something to be proud of there. Go ahead and sit on the line. We'll see if it holds up. Ty goes to you, by the way. That brings up Austin and Wake Forest. Austin, are you there?
I am.
All right. The categories remaining for you are NFL Swifties, all players with Taylor in their name, NFL James Gang, all players with James in their name, or NBA current players only.
I think I'll go NBA.
NBA, current players only. The way this works, as you just heard, I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. And you need 2 for the win. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Jalen Brunson, New York Knicks.
13.
Incorrect. Mikal Bridges, Brooklyn Nets.
1.
Correct. Jeremy Grant, Portland Trailblazers.
9.
Correct. Norman Powell, Los Angeles Clippers.
24.
Correct. Spencer Dinwiddie, Los Angeles Lakers.
26.
Correct. Jalen Brunson, New York Knicks.
11.
Correct. Goodness gracious. Austin, that was wild. Congratulations. That's a perfect score.
20 seconds.
20 seconds. With 10 seconds to spare, that's a perfect score.
Thank you.
I have a question for you, Austin. Does your voice ever get above that exact level of volume that you're at right now?
No, it's stuck like this.
All right, that's what it seems like. That was an unreal performance. The Jalen Brunson mess up at the beginning made me think we might be in for a long one, and then you just smoked it from that point forward. Congratulations.
I know. I knew that one, just said the wrong answer.
It reminded me of the 3-point competition where you missed the first, maybe one or two, and then all of a sudden you lock it. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, goodness gracious. Congratulations, Austin. That was impressive. Sit on the line. Graham has some info he needs to get from you to get you your prize. You'll be seeing Train with REO Speedwagon August 9th.
I appreciate it.
There you go. That's Austin's first 5 for 5 in a while. I almost didn't get excited because his voice was so 11, 9, 24, 26. He needed a little bit more juice. But I guess the juice came from going 5 for 5, right? To the winner, you get to decide how to celebrate. I suppose that's one way to go through it. But congratulations to Austin. Rough one for Frank and Clayton. Ran into a buzzsaw. I like 5 for 5s, though, so get ready tomorrow. We'll still have the Train tickets. We'll still have the REO Speedwagon. It's the whole group. We'll have the pair of tickets. You just need to call in and play the numbers game tomorrow around the same time, and you can get your own etched in the history books 5 for 5 opportunity. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I encourage you all to follow us on YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. We have some cool stuff going on there. I also encourage you all to stick around through the break because when we come back, we're talking Martin Necas. Stick around.
The world's best athletes are in Paris going for the gold, and 99.9 The Fan will help you follow them for all 16 days of the Summer Games through August 11th. Listen for all the action from across the Atlantic. Check in often for event reports from Paris and the updated medal count as Team USA takes on the world. Updates from the Summer Games on 99.9 The Fan are presented by North Carolina FC. Get your tickets today at NorthCarolinaFC.com.
At Lowe's, save big every day. Right now, get a free pneumatic nailer when you buy a pallet of Metabo HPT nails. And there's more. Save 10% on select shingles when you buy in bulk. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last, discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at renofi.com/notices. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
John, I'm putting my foot down. We can't put off renovating this house any longer. Our kitchen is so small. We need to finish the basement for the kids, and don't even get me started on the bathrooms.
Honey, renovating is so expensive. We can't do all those projects.
With Renofi, we can.
What's Renofy?
Renofy loans are a new type of home equity loan only for homeowners doing renovations. We can get up to $500,000 and keep our existing low mortgage rate locked in.
With Renofy, we can do everything on our renovation list and we don't have to refinance?
That's right. Renofy loans are the only home equity loan that use the after renovation value.
Just what we need. How do we get started with Renofy?
Just send them a text.
Text TRANSFORM to 323232 and see if you qualify for up to $500,000 to renovate your home with Renofy. Unlock the future value of your home right now to get the money you need without refinancing. Text the word TRANSFORM to 323232 to get started today. Text TRANSFORM to 323232.
NMLS number 1802847. Not all borrowers or properties qualify. Loan terms apply.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Batter up. Theater Raleigh presents Bull Durham, a new musical playing Duke University's Reynolds Industries Theater in Durham, September 10th through the 22nd. Based on the classic movie, the film's original screenwriter Ron Shelton has adapted the story for the musical, so you can follow Crash Davis's Durham Bulls story and his romantic love triangle in a new genre. The perfect blend of comedy, drama, and steamy romance. Get your tickets for Bull Durham, a new musical, today. Details and ticket info at theaterraleigh.com.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. During that commercial break, I was given some numbers about our numbers game winner. That was Austin, right? Austin won perfect score in the NBA category. That is our first perfect score in the NBA category since December. It is July 30th. We had not had a perfect score in the NBA since December. And that is our 20th overall 5-for-5 perfect score.
That's a rare clubhouse to be in. Congratulations, Austin from Wake Forest.
That is, and he did it with some swag. Mess up the first one, then it's a reverse sweep, right? It's
exactly
a gentleman's sweep or whatever they call it, where you lose game one and then you win the next four. You mess up the first, then you roll through the rest and still have 10 seconds to spare. So there you go, 20th perfect score in the numbers game. First NBA perfect score since December.
It can be done, folks.
It can be done.
You just got to call and play.
We've seen it. It can be done. We have seen it. Martin Necas, as of yesterday, now under contract with the Canes for the next 2 seasons at $6.5 million per year. I want to have this conversation about Martin Necas. Let's not confuse a 2-year contract with an 8-year contract. This buying out his arbitration years, this eliminating of drama, this allowing the team to move forward with more certainty does not make him a cornerstone of the future. A 2-year deal gives everyone another chance to make it work. That is different than it working. Having another chance to make it work is different than figuring it out and making it work, right? The Canes, and this was a term that Graham, you guys used on Next Up with Paul Ihander every morning, 9 to 10, right here on 99.9 The Fan. The Canes showed their softer side a bit. That's good, right? They met in the middle. They came to an agreement. That's good when it comes to mending the relationship if there is something that needs to be mended, right? Offering the handshake. Hey, let's get to the bottom of this. We respect you. You respect us. Let's make this work so we can just end the drama. That helps the relationship for sure, but it doesn't solve everything.
Yeah.
Right? Coming to an agreement on the money doesn't mean he's going to be playing center, which is what his dad said he wants. If he buys into what the Canes want him to do, he could end up on a long-term deal with the Canes in the next year or two. That's now a possibility. If he doesn't, or if the team doesn't think he is working out, even if he does try to, they can trade that contract very easily. This is an opportunity for everyone involved to do better, right? It's an opportunity for Martin Necas to make himself indispensable. Right? It's an opportunity for Martin Necas to make us talk about him the way we're talking about Seth Jarvis.
Yep. Sebastian Aho, Andrei Svechnikov.
And I don't hate the well, let's see how this, like, let's give it another shot. Right? If it doesn't work out that way, we'll talk about him like he's Teuvo Teravainen. And there's nothing wrong with that either. There's a lot of big Teuvo Teravainen fans in the area. He will have an opportunity to build back his value, which, by the way, isn't necessarily tanked, but it can grow even greater, right? He will be asked to score goals and create. Imagine how different this offseason would have been if the last two seasons were flipped. If he had 53 points 2 seasons ago and 71 points this past season. Imagine how we would look at him differently. He'd be a player on the rise, give him the long-term deal. This year is his opportunity to do that. We were talking with Adam Gold yesterday. He said he wouldn't be surprised if Necas received more opportunity on both the power play and the penalty kill. To me, that's that olive branch. That's the team reaching out to him and saying, all right, let's compromise. You want to be a second-line center. You want to be first-team power play. You want to be on the penalty kill. We can't give you center. We just don't see it. We think of you as a winger. A top 6 forward, but a wing. Like, that's what we see you as. But hear me out. Jake Ensel's not coming back. We're going to have some power play 1 minutes. Let's see if we can't get you out there. Let's see if we can't get you producing on the power play. All right, let's see if we can't get you on more power penalty kill minutes. All of this is, it's the realization that you're not ready to give up. Some of the trades that were proposed, and I'm not saying proposed to the team, I'm saying proposed by different teams around the league, by different media members as like, hey, this could be a return for Martin Necas. They felt like you were giving up. Right? They felt like they were nothing more than like getting somebody to take over your lease so you can move out from your significant other, right? I don't need any money for it. I don't need anything good. I just want to be able to get out. I don't want to see you in the kitchen anymore. And then sometimes you explore those options and go, you know what? Let's try one more time. That's what this is. It's let's try. Now, remember the good times? I remember the postseason. Remember how we made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. Remember that?
The wraparound goal against the Nashville Predators in Game 5 to win it in overtime.
Remember the 2 goals against the Rangers? Remember that? Like, that is what this is. I don't want to hype it up so much because, like, yesterday, obviously, team signed a good young player to a 2-year contract to eliminate so much of the drama. We were hyped. All right, this is great for the Canes. Now, boom, turn your attention to Jarvis. Oh, now you have a legitimate scorer, a point producer for the second line, something that we were so worried about. Like, all right, good. But I make no mistakes about it. I am not saying this by any means makes the core Aho, Svech, Slavin, Necas. Like that's not where we're at. And hopefully Jarvis in the very, very near future, and potentially, depending on how next year goes, Kochetkov, if he plays great. Like, I'm not putting him in the cool kids group yet. Well, let's see how it goes, right? All right, it's good news, but it's not great news. And I think even if you were going to trade Martin Necas, this deal allows you to set up for a bigger return. Because now you can feature him a little bit, let him get cooking a few times in the first part of the year, and then at the deadline be willing to move him for a haul of picks or young players or whatever you're looking for. Don't confuse a 2-year deal with an 8-year deal, which, by the way, they said they did talk about. Remember that?
Yeah.
Eric Tolsky said we've talked everything from a 1-year deal to an 8-year deal.
Well, it really got to a point where your options were so limited because a lot of targets that you had during free agency had already been acquired by other teams.
Or the other teams filled that role, right? Do you need a winger? No, we did.
Got one, yeah.
But you weren't moving quick enough, so we had to go sign so-and-so, and now we don't have room for him. That kind of stuff happens. So I'm giving everyone credit for cooler heads prevailing, but I am not by any means putting the cart in front of the horse and saying, all right, cool, now nature, like, after the season 2 seasons ago, there probably was a lot of like, hey, let's make this guy our guy. Let's lock him into the top line. Let's go Aho, Svech, Necas for the next 10 years. I'm not there yet, and I don't want anyone to think that I am. I'll tell you where I am, though. I am excited to watch the highlights from the Olympics tonight.
There you go.
They just did a little short on this television that I have here in the studio. What are we watching? USA. They just did a little quick wraparound, like a highlights of the women's rugby bronze medal match that the U.S. won. Electric. I haven't watched any of the swimming from today. Saving that for tonight to watch during the recaps. Because I don't like that. This is a very much a sports radio problem. We get to watch all day. Then we go home and they're replaying everything from the day. Most people are at work and can't watch all day. So I do try to save a few things to watch tonight. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I want everybody to know that you should go get your very own complete and total customized retirement plan from Capital Financial Advisory Group. And, of course, that means Coach Pete. We know the impact of great coaching. We've seen it in the games. We've seen it in sports. And this holds true in the financial arena, too. You want to make sure you are working with someone you can trust, who can help explain your situation and the solutions that will benefit you. Why settle for a boilerplate, one-size-fits-all plan from some of those other planners when Coach Pete will build the game plan specifically around you, along with his fiduciary planning team at Capital Financial Advisory Group? They can help you build that game plan, that playbook to your specific needs and your specific financial situation. Give them a call to do that at 800-691-3215. If you let them know you heard about it here from me, you'll also get the 7 Baby Steps box set for free. So the number to call, 800-691-3215. Tell them you heard about it from Tim, or you can just text my name, Tim, to 600-700. That's T-I-M to 600-700. It's about going to do it for us here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. But we have Overdrive coming up next with more Necas conversation, including Eric Staal conversation. Let's have some fun. Let's celebrate one of the all-time greats for the Carolina Hurricanes. Eric Staal's jersey going up in the rafters. We reacted to it earlier today. That will lead off Overdrive. We'll be back tomorrow. Don't forget to text PORK to 919-860-5326 for your chance to win your weight in meat presented by the North Carolina Pork Council. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.
Are you ready?
From 54, snap and hold are good. Kick is on the way, plenty of leg, and it is good!
Over the middle it goes, and he's got Puka Nacua to the 30, to the 20. No one's going to catch him.
Back to throw, Crosby off the edge, and he's got him back at the 23!
Tua back to throw. Deep down the numbers on the left, and the Cheetahs got it! Touchdown!
The NFL kicks off August 1st on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
I spray and scrub, but the soap scum in my bathtub is still there.
I spray